Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Hey!
I don't know if that's right or not. There are bits that I recognise.
It sounded vaguely familiar.
Honestly, when he first started out, I thought he was doing the EastEnders theme tune.
Yeah.
Very similar.
They begin very similar, yes.
Yep, that was Thomas the Tank Engine, if anyone's bemused or confused by that.
That was allegedly Thomas the Tank Engine.
It is Thomas the Tank Engine, damn it.
Yeah. It is now.
Was that the Biggie Smalls variant?
Biggest small version of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just a YouTube video of Biggie Smalls rapping to Thomas the Tank Engine background music.
You should have done that version. I have seen that somewhere.
Yeah, I
It's
apologise. I
hilarious.
failed the
Check it
world.
out.
Anyway, thank you for that, Michael. Welcome to welcome to the Button Mash podcast. We do that every single week, and I really need to stop doing that. I always say thank you and then talk over you.
Yeah.
Well, there's no cohesion in this podcast. People should know that by now.
No, that's true.
That's the extended intro.
Yes. So we're here, we're going to talk about video games and video game accessories. We'll be here for somewhere around 2 hours. We're bringing you the latest games of the week, the new releases, and some video gaming news and gossip. We like gossip. And a bit of Thomas the Tank Engine.
I do my best.
Alright, so let's start off with... Oh, I haven't introduced people. People that are here this week. We have Will and Suneil are back with us this week, as well as obviously Michael doing our theme tune, as always.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Cool. We have a crew.
Apparently here.
So shall we start
My
off...
alter ego.
No.
Sorry.
Should we start off with what we have been playing this week, as we usually do?
Why break the bow?
Very short segment for me.
Sorry?
Just
Oh,
it's
short.
gonna-
Oh,
Yeah.
go for it.
Well, I'm actually playing right now Higgs boson, the infinite runner.
Oh, Boson X.
Yeah, Boson X. Yeah. How do you pronounce that?
I pronounced it boson. I think that's
Boson.
right.
Like Higgs. Yeah. You could say it's like a rotational infinite runner game.
I think they call it a tunnel runner.
Tunnel runner.
I think is what the devs call it.
I've heard infinite runner somewhere.
Oh, it is an
so-
infinite
so-
runner.
Yeah.
But infinite runner, you tend to think of something 2D like Cannabolts, if you just say that.
Right. All these terminologies,
Yeah,
video game terminologies.
It's so confusing.
Yep.
it is. All dem genres.
So yeah, basically running through a particle accelerator, discovering particles,
That
discovering the Higgs. Is that
Yeah.
Bosonic?
You say that, but it's kind of a...
It's just
not.
like a platform jumper, avoid obstacles. You can't actually implement.
I think it's kind of a metaphor for science.
Yeah, metaphor. not actually discovering particles. Yeah.
You
Literally
run,
doing-
yeah. I played a really
Well,
early
I
version
just-
of it like a year ago, when it was just a web-based thing.
Oh yeah. I've seen your review of it. What first impressions or what?
And where can people see this review, John?
That can be found over at youtube.com/buttonmashempire.
These are getting earlier and earlier, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah, I was talking Bosonox, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
having a lot of fun with that. Yeah, and I'm turning into a casual player, so
I don't know.
I'm
That's not that casual.
It's-
It's up there with your super hexagon. It's pretty brutal at times. That thing.
yeah, it can be.
It's a lot of twitchy reflex thing. You're running down the tunnel. You've got to jump from platform to platform to platform really, really quickly, and a lot of time it doesn't give you much time to think. It's
Yeah, it's-
not something
it's
I
quite
would describe as
jarring, yeah.
casual.
Well, I play it casually, just in other words, yeah.
Right.
So
He plays it in a smoking jacket with a cigar.
in a recliner, just yeah.
Chilled out. It was my relaxing
Yeah,
game.
No, well, recently I've just been playing games that have well decent soundtracks. So I'm more inclined to play games that have decent soundtracks. So I can just.
I think
relax.
everyone is really.
I can't actually remember what Boson X's soundtrack's like, because that was a while back, if he'd even had one. Does it have a soundtrack now?
Well, yeah, it has one. I'm not entirely sure who did it, but it's pretty cool. I like it.
Alright, I don't remember it having one, I just seem to recall it making a sort of boom noises that charge stuff up, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I say, it was a while back for me.
Was your
That qualifies as
computer
music now.
Sorry?
Was your computer on by any chance on mute when you were playing it?
No, like I say, it has sound effects. They made lots of physics
Yeah.
boom noises as you
It's,
charged up your power.
it was
and
probably
stuff.
focusing more on commentating and listening to the music.
Maybe I usually do try. If there's something, if I like the music, I will usually try to mention that in my commentary. I'll be like, "Hey, this music's great. Check it out."
Yeah.
So it obviously didn't leave a lasting impression on me.
Can tell. You've conditioned yourself to like play games and commentate over it, like I've conditioned myself to like bob my head like furiously up and down whilst playing games.
Okay, is there a reasoning for that, or is this just
I like bobbing my head
you just like bobbing your head? Okay,
to good music.
okay.
There's no like scientific evidence that supports that you become a better game player by doing this, is there?
I love physics. That's what I said to myself when I'm doing it.
You love physics and bobbing your head.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
all you need to play Boson X.
yeah, it's cool. Like it. I've been playing Crypto and Necrodancer as well, usual.
Well, who hasn't?
Yeah.
Everybody playing that at the minute, especially me.
The dance pad.
No, not with a dance pad. Have you seen the new... Let's talk about the new update. Have you seen the new update?
Yes, I have.
No.
They added the Frost Dagger, which is amazing. Have you tried out the
I've
Frost
not
Dagger?
seen that yet.
You can get it by going to see Dorian, Dorian. You get it in the first shop on the first floor for 100 coins, so if you want to test that out. And it's literally just a dagger. It's got your 1 damage, 1 range, but it freezes enemies when you stab them.
How many
So they
beats?
can't move.
Does that include bosses?
Yes. It's really OP.
Right, how many beats is that?
5, I think it is. I'd have to double check. I think it's about 5.
It's like the blue dragon thing.
Hmm?
Like I think blue dragon freezes you for five
is that?
turns.
Oh, it's probably a very similar effect. I mean, the visuals are identical. Same for the freeze spell. I imagine there is just a freeze effect that's in the game, and all freezes do the same. Yeah,
Sounds about right.
but yeah, it does mean that if you're like surrounded by a bunch of enemies, you can just sort of freeze, and you just keep them all crowd controlled. Essentially, you just like stab, and none of them can attack you.
Frost dagger. I wonder what this does. I'll be
How-
like,
However, if you go
Yeah.
anywhere fiery, it melts.
oh,
If you step on a
Steve.
fire tile on zone 3, the dagger actually melts.
Yeah, more than useless in Zone 3 then.
Well, it turns back into an ordinary dagger. It doesn't melt entirely, but actually, no. I did gain to use the Dorian seed. That's really quite a good seed because you also somewhere early-ish on pick up Explorer's boots. It doesn't melt if you have Explorer's boots.
oh,
So I guess it only melts if you take damage from fire. So fireballs will kill you, and I guess if you actually no, it does melt if you stand on a tile. So I guess
yeah.
disregard.
I'd
You're
I
telling me
thought you
internet
were
lies.
immune to fire as well. Well, first time I got the boots, but you know.
No. There's a lot of interesting mechanics going on in that game. The way things interact with each other is really cool.
Yeah, it's good. Like
I mean,
it.
if you cast the fireball over ice, it turns it to water, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow.
When the monkey jumps on you, and the dragon breathes the fire, like it negates the damage.
I have
Okay.
heard about that.
Yeah,
I've
I've
never
keep-
tried that.
It keeps happening to me. It's a
Alright.
lifesaver. He's like, jump on me.
It
It
doesn't.
doesn't
Monkey.
sound like a convenient way to avoid damage.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to
Just-
say. It's not something you
just
can
try.
rely on.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Like-
this applies to real life situations. Just if someone shoots a gun at you, if there's a monkey, you're saved.
Probably. It depends how sturdy the monkey is.
How durable monkeys are.
Monkey meat shield.
Actively seek out monkeys.
Well, if
IRL.
anyone tries to murder you in a zoo, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Just go in. Make sure you only go into the war. Go to war in a jungle.
That's why the Viet Cong won.
Because they
Unless
had
it's a
convenient
farm.
monkeys. Sorry?
Unless it's a farm.
Unless it's a farm.
The pig, she does nothing.
That's... No, references. References you presumably don't get.
Yeah, a little bit of Team Fortress 2 there.
A bit of Team Fortress 2.
I
Indeed.
got it.
Cool.
It's over my head.
Yes, go and watch the Meet the Team videos because
See
they're all
if,
goddamn hilarious.
See if Michael gets this one. I die to green slimes.
Is it going over my head?
I'm not bad. I die to.
I've not
Yeah.
heard the reference. I presume I know what you mean, but yeah.
Yeah, the game that we're talking about.
Sure.
Because I'm not terrible.
Can you
No,
actually
but
do that? I guess you...
No, you cannot die to green slimes at all.
What if you attacked it without a weapon?
Oh.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah, there you go.
So you'd have
I've
to have
never-
a glass
never-
weapon,
Yeah.
break the glass,
Yeah.
and then run
Break
into a
the
green
glass, yeah.
slime.
And don't pick up the glass shard after it's broken.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you learn things every day.
I don't know if that works. Again, that's for science,
yeah,
but
it's for science. Maybe you just slam your face into it and he dies.
just rub your face on green slime.
what's in Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I've completed hardcore as well finally.
Oh, well done. With cadence, is that?
Yeah, no. I cheesed it. I cheesed it like you did.
Hey, join the cheese side. Woo! Go cheese.
No, I'm still not convinced by Bard. Cadence all the way.
Well, you come from the school of Dark Souls, so that's to be expected.
Hardcore.
Yes, we have established that I am a masochist.
I am all about the cheese. Welcome to the Cheesecast.
This week, Brie.
I like
played
Brie.
Dark Souls, so that makes you good at all games.
You'd think, but no, it just makes me terrible at Dark Souls.
Why does it make you more frustrated?
No, I manage. I manage.
I feel like there's a terrible segue coming in, but Will, have you been playing Dark Souls this week?
Of course I've been playing Dark Souls this week. I finally managed to complete all the DLC that's up to date just in time this week for the Crown of the Ivory King that's supposed to be coming out soon.
Wasn't the last one the Crown of something King? Did it just keep
Yeah.
changing the flavour
Iron
of the
King.
crown?
The first one was Crown of the Sunken King. Now
Right.
it's Crown of the Old Iron King, and the next one is Crown of the Ivory King.
Right.
So now I have absolutely nothing to do until the new DLC comes out.
Did you find the crown?
Yes, I did.
Did you wear it? Wear it with
I
pride?
did, but it's not quite as stylish as the other crowns.
Oh, wow.
What's its stats like?
Not brilliant. I don't think any of the crowns are really brilliant. I think the only useful one is the one that came before the DLC, which was the King Vendrick's crown, and that gave you +3 intelligence and faith, and only I think Suneil will know what I'm talking about. But
no,
no, no.
I've played the first one.
Right.
That is
Right.
spectacularly anticlimactic.
Yeah, no one will know what I'm talking about.
I do feel like it seems to rather defeat the point of the DLC. Here, pay money to go through and earn a crown that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but hats.
It's the journey.
Oh, okay, I understand
But
that. I
hats.
understand that language. That works.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where I've got all the really, really good gear, but none of it looks good.
Does it have a cosmetic
Together.
system kind of thing, or
No,
no?
it has no.
Oh,
'cause
so if
that-
you want to look good, you have to wear crappy gear.
basically.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
that's terrible. That's tragic.
I think that's what's happening with Destiny players at the moment.
Is it really?
I think,
Hipster logic.
Everyone's just wearing a scarf.
yeah.
Um,
Right. Anyone else been playing anything exciting?
But you know what I've been playing, don't you?
How are you doing in the leagues?
Good news, I'm in the Premiership.
In the Premiership, woo! Is that the
Yeah.
top one?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I can't
Can I
tell
have a
anymore.
Can I have a slow clap?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm bowing. Thank you.
You sure you're clapping?
Well, someone was.
So, what are
Yeah,
your
just-
chances this season?
I don't know. Got my transfer budget. I think I'm predicted to be relegated, but on the board wants me to fight bravely.
Right.
It's kind of, to give an analogy. It's like fighting a dragon. It's like, we assume you're going to die, but if you could look good while you you do it,
If you can wear a hat while you do it.
maybe get a stabbing.
Well, we've already been over this. What you really need is a frost dagger. If you can just equip Leeds with a frost dagger, you'll be sorted.
Yeah.
Does it have like an implemented card collection game like in the new FIFA or the previous FIFA as well? FIFA 15.
I don't think
It's
FIFA games
ultimate
really
team
concentrate on
card
card
collector
play.
game. They've implemented a gambling mechanic into the game, so keep people hooked.
There's plenty of gambling in football, so
Yeah,
not the worst idea.
exactly.
It does seem to be a big feature. Every time YouTube tries to recommend videos, for some reason it seems to think I'm really, really into all the FIFA channels in spite of having never watched a single football video in my life. So it's like, here, why don't you watch all these guys? KSI does loads of FIFA. Why don't you watch some KSI stuff? I'm like, no? And it's like, most of the videos are all like, oh, I did this big gambling thing. It's like, is this really all what FIFA's about now? It's just like, it's all massive stakes gambling is the interesting part of the game, I guess.
Well, I think it's more transfer and buying in players and selling players. I think that's the gamble of whether or not the player works out in your particular team.
Right.
So there is an element of strategy to what you're doing, but more or less it's just ball, net, go.
Ball, net, go. That's why I've never understood football, because I don't get that.
Too
Well, there's a
complicated.
lot of other really complex intricacies with football that we're unaware of because we never watch it.
There's obviously the offside rule.
Yeah, I'm not.
I still don't know that.
Oh, someone made loud noise.
That's kind of the cutscene in Friday at Freddy's. It's a new game I've seen. It's just when the
yes.
monster gets you at the
Oh,
end.
Friday Night
That's what that
Freddy's. Yeah.
sounded like.
Oh, no, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes, that's it. Well, if
I was thinking of getting that for the event, but I don't know. It's just that one guy that made like artwork for us, and I don't know. Stretch was a bit confused whether
Well,
we
I've
needed
seen,
to put that somewhere.
well, I saw a video, bit of gameplay this week. I think it was on the Fine Brothers channel where they were getting the kids to play it or something.
Mm.
It just seems to stand in a room and have to open and close doors. It doesn't look overwhelmingly thrilling to me.
Oh, a teenagers react to
Gaming
Yeah.
that thing, yeah.
the React series. I saw the older people one
When they were playing Happy
Happy Wheels.
That brought joy to my heart.
When the old guy goes, so that simulates death. it's like in bits on the floor.
Yep, that's how Happy Wheels works.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain I get horror games. I mean, if I can do a nice little segue, I have been playing Craven Manor this week, which is a horror game, and I did a review for it. And I actually can call that one a review. Normally I'd say I do first impressions, but in this case it's really, really short, so I did actually finish the entire thing in about an hour. I don't get horror games.
I mean,
like-
I don't see the appeal of something like Slender. I don't get why that's apparently scary.
No.
That's like a really big cult thing now.
And
I think
Yeah.
they're making a movie out of it.
I think, Jesus Christ.
I know.
Just collecting post-it notes while
I
someone
didn't think
might
there was
attack
much
you.
enough of a plot, yeah.
I think I just
Unless we-
described.
Can they drag out collecting post-it notes to 90 minutes?
We're gonna have a go.
They can do it, just not very well.
They could do it. What's it called? I forget what the name of it was. Blair Witch style, running around the forest with a shaky cam and carrying it around. They're like, oh, there's a post-it note, and eventually the Slender Man gets them at the end, or something. There we
So
go.
just-
I'm a director.
They're just gonna make the Blair Witch Project
Blair Witch Project with more post-it notes.
because that's what the film was lacking.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
More
so not
stationery.
Like, Will, did you find like Dark Souls scary?
No, Dark Souls isn't scary. It's just it.
I don't know. It's just the environment I put myself in when playing it. I'm like pitch black, middle of the night.
This is peak time for gamers.
Extremely loud, like in-game music.
No, I think it's atmospheric, definitely, but I don't find it scary.
Yeah, I like kind of stopped playing it when I went to the depths. So-
Yeah, I can't help but
yeah.
wonder with horror games. I was like, do you have to want to be scared of something to appreciate a horror game or something? Is that what I'm missing here?
I think
I just appreciate the atmosphere of like a game like Silent Hill, which just does gorgeous textures and really haunting soundtracks.
yeah.
I think, yeah, Silent Hill's really well acclaimed as a horror game, though, whereas a lot of stuff that you see these days, like your Slender or Five Nights at Freddy's, I think is mostly more about jump scares and things that they're not than anything else.
that's
Yeah,
true,
just shock factor.
Yeah, I mean, Craven Manor. There are elements of that. A lot of ooh, spooky noises, things happening. Oh, you can't see what's going on, but something's attacking you. Oh no! Oh, okay, the lights are back on. We're okay now. And it had Doctor Who. They had the stone angel statue things.
the Weeping
The Weeping
Angels, yeah.
Angels.
Weeping Angels, that's what it is, right? Yeah, that only moved when you weren't looking. They're the one and only main antagonist in Craven Manor does exactly that. He pops up and then he only attacks you when you're not looking at him. So all you have to do is wander around the room just looking at the guy, and he will never ever bother you.
And it's
That's,
just safe in the knowledge of knowing you'll just regenerate.
There's also actually, yeah, it's got regenerating health, which completely diffuses any threat whatsoever. So
I was
it's-
kidding, but Jesus.
it's bloody screen, so real stuff. It's like, oh, I looked away for a moment and the guy hit me. Well, if I stop and stand and look at him for the next 5 seconds, my health will come back and I can go back to doing whatever it was I was doing.
That's like the opposite of Slenderman, well, isn't it? You know, Slenderman, you have to look away, like, and then he won't do anything to you. Or...
Oh, right. I can't say I've actually ever played it, so.
Isn't it more?
I don't know.
that
It builds on people's like other kind of like semi-phobias, like what was it? What's that for? Kinophobia.
I think it's
Fear
something
of
to do
open
with.
empty spaces.
Isn't it something to do with you've got a light, but you've only got a limited amount of battery, so when the light goes off, he's more likely to attack you.
What the?
Craven Manor specifically, yes, you do have a flashlight, and the light just goes out at random intervals for like no reason. That's all it does. That's the only threatening bit about it. It's like, will my torch go out when I don't want it to? There's no way. There's no way of telling.
about some batteries.
There's no battery meter or anything on it. It doesn't tell you anything. It's just like, tick, light goes out. And it's like, thanks, game. Thanks. Needed that.
Don't you have an option to go to like a convenience store or something?
No, what you do is you press the button and you turn it back on.
Oh wow, what a novel concept!
Just goes out, that's all it does.
It's a ghost manipulating the thing.
Presumably, yes. Presumably this haunted manor is just turning my torch out for no reason. Or maybe it scared me so much that my finger twitched and turned the light out or something. I don't know.
Got like a nervous tick in your hand.
Maybe. That must be it. I don't know. I don't get horror games. It's just I'm very cynical about that sort of thing. I'm the sort of person who wanders around going, oh, look at this, it's so spooky. Oh, look at me, I'm scared. And it's like,
I mean,
no.
I enjoy being scared in a game, but just a lot of these new games, I just don't find them scary.
A lot of people found that Hideo Kojima's PT Silent Hill quite scary.
Really? I mean,
I think
watching Yahtzee's podcast thing that he does every week, he said that was a lot of jump scares as well. So
Yeah. I think it's like the realism comes into account for that game, kind of. Well, personally, I don't know, but there is a few jump scares as well. Yeah.
I would like to see something do that sort of creeping psychological kind of horror sort of thing. It's like more. I don't know, more, leaves a more of a lasting impact on you than just boo, ha, scared you. Okay, game over now.
Agreed.
Well, that's what I'm kind of hoping Alien Isolation's going to be. That's coming out next month, I believe.
I don't know that one. Brief me.
Well, it's basically Alien, the first film,
All right.
but set instead of Ripley, it's Ripley's daughter, and it's kind of there's one alien. It's not your average alien game where you have to blast 50 of them through every level, but
Right.
It's more of you run and hide. If the alien gets you, it will kill you, and that is game over.
All right. Interesting.
So
That sounds fun.
and the alien, it doesn't have a set routine. It doesn't prowl one corridor and then the next. It's got a random generator that'll so it'll show up when you don't want it to.
All right.
So I'm hoping it'll have that sort of constant threat level enough to scare you shitless.
I hope that's done well, because I recall something Jesse Cox has been going on about a bunch of times recently. I don't know whether it's this, but there's some horror game where there's some antagonist that keeps popping up at random intervals. But I can't remember what he was talking about. So maybe it might not be, but apparently in this instance it would appear it would appear and it would kill you. Actually, it probably isn't this. I seem to recall it talking about a chainsaw, so I suspect the alien doesn't have a chainsaw.
That might be Evil Within, which I've also pre-ordered.
All right. But yeah, apparently they'll appear and pretty much instantaneously kill you unless you have completely full health, in which case you can survive a very short time against this enemy. And they will appear completely at random times. You can be like climbing up a ladder and they'll appear at the top of it and like, oh, I can't climb this ladder now because he's just going to chainsaw me when I get off at the top and I can't escape this. It's just
that sounds like Evil Within.
Yeah, there's just like no actual, there's no real thought or design gone into where he can randomly appear to pace the game well. It's literally completely random at any time within the game, whether it's convenient or not. Which doesn't sound like a great design, but...
See, I kind of like it, but we've established that I am the masochist here.
I can understand difficulty, but it's just completely unfair. It's just like, look, you can't go up here without dying now. It's like, I'm on a ladder. There is only one way for me to go through this level, and at the top of it is instantaneous and certain death because the game decided, well, random number generator says now's the time to die. That's not fair.
Man rolls dice, now it's time to die.
Yeah.
Maybe you can figure some way around him, or maybe you'll have the option to throw something to distract him. You never know. You don't know till you play the game.
Don't think that's how it works, but there you go.
Superplex off a ladder, you never know.
Well, I will let you know because I'm having a massive horror fest between now and finishing those two games.
It's the right time of the year.
It is indeed.
Yep, you have chosen.
It's entirely appropriate.
Yeah, of course it is.
Nothing says horror like September.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
be.
of course.
I'm gonna have an Easter gaming session next month.
What Easter games are there? I think we did this last time we tried to run an event around April, and it's like, there's a really difficult one to quantify. It's like, we came up with like Yoshi because he's got eggs.
Yeah, I think that was about it. I can't remember any other games.
I suppose there's Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, that's about eggs.
Are there any games about rabbits?
Probably? Not that I can think of any offhand.
Silent Hill has rabbits.
Oh, that's very Eastery.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Oh, Minecraft has rabbits in as well now.
Oh yeah.
Although I do seem to recall someone rather unironically stating that Minecraft was an Easter game because it had eggs in as well at some point as well. It's like, not really. If
You
I'm
can
honest,
build Easter-themed things in Minecraft, though.
you could.
I'm intrigued
By
to see.
by that rule, Minecraft is every genre. It
Build
is
anything in
all
it.
genres.
If it isn't in
All
the game,
things
someone
to
will
all
mod it.
men.
You know, Microsoft will make it more Christmassy by adding in elves by about December. We'll see.
Well, it already has snowmen, so it's already got Christmassy stuff in.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Anyway, yeah, we went over this last week. Microsoft won't have any input for a while yet, hopefully. Although I did see Seth Bling did an amusing video earlier this week where he did Minecraft 2 by Microsoft, and it literally... That guy's really friggin' smart, because he'd managed to effectively make a 2D version of Minecraft within Excel. I don't know how he did
Impressive.
that.
Okay. That's crazy. Crazy stuff.
Well, at first I thought, lol, Excel joke, yeah, sure. And then he's like, oh, God, he started playing with it and moving the character around and interacting with the world. He's like, holy shit, he's actually made a thing that works somehow vaguely Minecrafty in Excel. That's really clever. So I don't know what he did there, but that was pretty impressive.
Like using
So you won't be
formulas
disappointed when Microsoft actually does this, then?
with a steely idea.
It'll just be there going, I'm impressed.
You're hired.
They seriously, Seth Bling is probably he must know a thing or two about coding. I mean, he's made of Redstone gadgetry. I think he probably is smart enough to get hired by a game dev. I'm surprised he hasn't. Although to be fair, he's huge on YouTube, so he probably gets paid better by YouTube than any dev would. So yeah, there's that as well.
Somewhere Microsoft had seen the video and going, oh no, he's on to us.
Quick, hire him. Oh wait, we can't afford him.
Take him out.
Oh, that got a bit dark.
That's how Microsoft.
We must
Escalated
assassinate
quickly.
Seth Bling. Yeah. Oh dear.
Michael the Horse, part-time assassin.
No, in the next Minecraft update, you'll just see a sign saying, "We're on to you."
Indeed. I did play some Minecraft this week. That's one of the things I've played. My inspiration with Minecraft kind of comes and goes in spurts, and like this week, the guy that runs the Minecraft server I play on, he's done some weird plague-themed story stuff around the server. And I was like, oh well, okay, then I'm going to build a secret laboratory. So I had a thing to do.
Above ground or below?
Below.
Yeah,
So he's got like a
obviously
nuclear
though.
bunker.
Well, it
Sorry?
might be it's Minecraft here. Can build,
Yeah.
create
got
new
like a-
genre.
So you've got like a nuclear bunker chemical weapons lab going on.
Basically, yeah, but some big tanks of green goop with tubes and things going into the wall, some fake pipe kind of things with water and lava flowing through them, and a big 3x3 blast door that slams shut when you hit a switch. Which is freaking sweet. There's a
sounds
dispenser
fun.
in there full of poison potions with a label above it saying free coffee. If anybody comes snooping, they can have some coffee.
Yeah.
This is how Microsoft's going to get.
Hey Seth Bling, would you like some coffee? Come try some Microsoft coffee.
Well, I don't see the harm.
Poisons!
Oh,
I
dear.
apologise for inspiring the death of Seth Bling here.
The views of the Button Mash podcast host, though.
I see you making coffee. You need help.
I don't think we made any views there. We were just
He did
rambling.
suggest a pretty
Clippy.
decent assassination attempt.
On Clippy Minecraft.
Okay. Everyone's already done the Clippy Minecraft joke. That was the first joke anyone did.
That's all I can add to the minute.
Hey, looks like you're digging a hole. Would you like some help?
No!
Been ages since that. Only for like console and PC and really play on it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that kind of comes and goes in phases, I think. I mean, you see this even with the big people that do it. It's like as a job. It's like you can see them kind of get a bit burned out. And the mod packs are good for actually reinvigorating a lot of life into it. And I can see myself probably going back to doing like Feed the Beast or something a few months down the line, to be honest.
Yeah. You know,
I mean,
sorry.
Now you go on.
I'm just gonna say, like, after every update, you know, like major update, do you need to like recreate the server or something?
You don't need to, per se. Depends on what the game does. I mean, technically, you've never needed to, but it depends what they add to the game and how it interacts with the world. If they change the terrain generation, and they have done 2 or 3 times so far, the way the actual world generates, again, you still don't need to, but any world that has already been generated, when you walk beyond that, it'll generate new terrain, and it'll stop using the old algorithms for terrain generation. It'll start using the new ones. So you'll just end up with either like just a wall falling into an ocean, or a massive cliff face, or some massive jarring big line right across the terrain where it's like, this is where the old terrain ends, this is where the new terrain starts. And then sometimes they'll add new features to the world that won't appear in previously existing chunks. I mean, the new stuff they added, like the rabbits and whatnot. Rabbits, I believe, won't spawn in any existing terrain from 1.7. So if you want rabbits, you can get rabbits, but you have to go outside where you've already been in the world and bring rabbits back with you. So I know someone did do that on our server, and I was like, well, rather you than me. I can't be bothered, A, walking that distance, or B, trying to wrangle a freaking rabbit 2-3 kilometers, however far it is.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare.
So you're not hunting wabbit?
I'm not hunting rabbits. I have forsworn...
Not Wabbit season.
No. I forsworn all working with animals. Never work with children or animals. Especially in Minecraft.
Yeah, they're real buggers.
So I think one of the first projects I undertook on the server was I was trying to retrieve a donkey so that I could set up a mule shop at spawn, which has been kind of a bit of a running joke for a while now. But the way I got the donkey back was I had to essentially push it across an ocean.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting project.
It should be made into a film.
Yes, the heroic and epic struggle of pushing a donkey across an ocean. Slowly. Very, very slowly. That was not good. So I don't do animals anymore.
Okay, that did sound right.
That sounds a bit wrong.
Yeah, a bit wrong.
You know what I mean.
Yes, I do.
I don't mean that.
Oh.
Anyway, to move things on from doing animals, also been playing... Actually, kind of in a... Well...
Is there almost
sort
a segue?
of? Almost a segue. VA11 Hall A is something else I've been playing, which is... I played a bit of it a while back. I actually finished it up this week. In fact, VA11 Hall A Prologue, rather than the full title, which is not out yet. Which is a... I can't remember if we talked about this on the show. I feel like we should have done. It's a game about... It's a cyberpunk dystopian bartending game.
We
Yes,
touched on it last week.
Mentioned this. Yeah.
Alright, yes. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay,
I have
yeah.
finished that up. It's about serving a lot of dogs, a lot of alcoholic drinks.
Yes, I vividly remember you talking about this last week. It sounded surreal.
So yes, final episode of that will be going up on my channel tomorrow.
And that channel, once again, the segue's so easy.
youtube.com/buttonmashempire. And I am really, really looking forward to the full thing, which will be out in December, I believe. A bunch of new stuff gone up on the dev blog, and they're talking about doing stuff like, in Hearthstone, where the background you can click on things and you can interact with stuff, and it does absolutely nothing, but it's fun to click on. It's just a massive version of an executive toy. Is what it is. It's like they're talking about adding that to the game. It's like, I am looking forward to clicking on things in the bar.
So you think there's enough replayability in it?
Well, like I say, this is the bit I have played. The first 3 days of the game are just the prologue. This is kind of a teaser. I think this is kind of how they're doing their funding as well, kind of thing. They started as a game jam, then they released the prologue section, which is these first 3 days. It was like, buy the prologue, $5 now, and we'll give you the full game when it comes out. Your $7 gets you the soundtrack as well, I think.
Yeah.
Which actually I wish I'd got, because it's actually got a really good soundtrack.
So enjoyed it?
Hmm?
So enjoyed the game then, yeah.
I did enjoy it. Yes, that's a great game. I like things. I like things where I don't have to do much.
Oh, wow.
Beyond the bartending, it's a lot of narrative stuff, and I like that kind of thing. I like, especially if I'm doing a video of it, as I was. I get to do all the voice acting, and I like doing the voice acting. I can do a lot of very silly voices.
So essentially your video is just an episode of Cheers then, yeah?
Maybe. Did people do a
one
lot
of
of
the
silly
dog-
voices in Cheers?
Did a dog walk in and everyone go, "Nom"?
No, that
That
never happened.
sounds bizarre. It sounds even more bizarre than that was that roundabout game.
Oh, Roundabout, yeah.
Constantly revolving limousine.
I mean, when we looked at it, I was like, that looks silly, but I've actually seen gameplay of it now. It's like, oh, it actually looks really quite good.
It's insane.
It's bizarre. I didn't realise one of the guys from Uber Entertainment, who are the guys who just did Planetary Annihilation and also one of my favourite games, Monday Night Combat. One of the top guys there. He was like the Asian millionaire kind of guy that gets in the limo.
Yeah,
And he just throws money at you, and I was like, "Oh, take me over here." And it's like, "Oh, that was him. Oh, I didn't realise." So that was kind of cool, because he posted a bunch of stuff on Twitter earlier this week, and he's changed his profile picture to his character within the game. I was like, "Oh, holy shit, that's you! I didn't know that. Oh, that's crazy." So that's awesome. I didn't realise he was also an actor, although I suppose, given the nature of the game, acting is a very generous term.
That's harsh.
It's one of those games that's designed to be cheesy bad, though. It's all done. It's made like I don't know whether it is made on a very low budget, but it looks like it's done on a cheesy low budget with like a camcorder kind of thing. Lots of really, really bad green screening and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
Not even a real limousine. No, you're joking.
It's just the back half of a limousine.
So you've never seen the front.
I don't know. I haven't played enough. I haven't played any of the game. I haven't seen enough of the game to know how much limousine you get to see. You may get to see more of the limousine. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
now we have a
speculating.
reason to play.
Yeah, we need to find out whether that limousine's in there. Actually, I probably will be looking into that at some point. If it comes up on sale, I might well have a stab at that, because that seems kind of cool.
Please keep us updated on it, John, because I'm not
I
going
will
to sleep
keep
at night.
Absolutely. Well, I shall follow it using new Steam features, which we'll absolutely be getting to later on in the show, because that comes in the news, I think, rather than talking crap.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Anything else anyone else has touched on this week?
I've been playing Gauntlet since that came out on
Gauntlet.
the 23rd.
I
It's,
know people who have played it, but I have not really had a look at it myself, so please do tell.
it's the very fun kind of slash through hordes of enemies and use wizardly or archery or hack and slash abilities. It's
Cool.
if you
Let's say
just
you
want to
hit-
vent, it's a good game for that.
When you say hordes of enemies, that immediately makes me think Dynasty Warriors?
It's
I haven't
it's like
played Dynasty Warriors.
Is it like Diablo, like a top-down?
Yes, it's
RPG.
Oh, I see.
Diablo.
Esque. more of like a couch co-op game. I know is it only for PC? I'm not entirely sure. So
I don't
Well,
know.
Well, Steam is designed for couch co-op these
Yeah,
days.
couch
They've got a
co-op,
big
yeah.
picture and all
Horses.
that jazz.
a lot of couch
All that
co-op games
jazz.
planned.
I mean, me and my mates, often he's got a decent PC that's reasonably portable, so quite often plug that into the TV and it's like, all right, let's just play some PC games. Why not? We have that option these days. We have the technology. There's nothing to stop PC being a couch co-op format.
So advanced technology we have.
Moving your PC, I know.
I don't
What's this
think I
mouse
could
turn
move
into
my
a-
PC tower now. It's huge.
Oh, mine's very impractical. Yes, his has handles on though, so you can pick it up.
Mine needs
Ooh,
wheels.
Is it square as well?
He's got a low form factor one. It's got handles, and it's like, yeah, you can just pick up the PC. It's like, that's almost portable.
Yeah, I'll be
Almost.
looking for like a square with handles, like tower, but they somehow are ridiculously overpriced just because it's square. This shit.
Yeah, it probably will be. I don't know what the one he's got's called. It's a Bit Phoenix one, which I know mine's a Bit Phoenix one as well. I quite like Bit Phoenix stuff. It's got a phoenix on the front and it lights up and it's cool.
Look at the pretty lights.
Look at the pretty lights is the main feature of one. I'm looking at the Bit Phoenix website to see if I can figure out what it is, but they do so many chassis for PCs. I haven't got a freaking clue. All I know is they're big on just follow up with the lights. Looking at their website, they seem to have just done loads and loads of new ranges where it's like, look at all the things we've got them in different colors. Look at the colors. Look, they're in green and blue and orange and white.
That's
and it's like,
the thing that you look at first. Is like, how practical
I
is
want
this
a red
keyboard?
one.
Yeah, I want a red one. Forget it.
yeah, I
it.
know.
Like,
That absolutely
it lights
sells.
up. The keys light up. Yeah, that's the only thing that interests me.
It took a lot of self-control not to spring an extra 30 quid for the light-up version of my current keyboard. It's like, they're identical, but that one lights up, but it's 30 quid more. Oh, be sensible for once.
So you had a minor breakdown then?
Yes.
Have you seen those keyboards that you can program individual keys to light up a different color?
Oh god, yes.
I feel like a disco, the disco dance pad things.
Well, my mouse has lights. I couldn't hold off on the lights for the mouse. My mouse is programmable in that regard, so that's kind of cool. Although it never seems to do what I want it to. When I go into the thing, it's like, okay, you will use these colors and you'll flash in this pattern, and it does something entirely else. And I'm like, I don't think that's what I told it to do, but I'm not sure.
Self-aware.
It is. It must be like,
It's
no,
rebelling.
no, you want this color. It's like, no, are you sure? I don't think I want this color.
Not like
No.
You want this colour.
Skynet wants you to have this color.
Yeah, clearly.
It also wants you to have this horse.
We're going back to the horse.
It wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't mention the horse.
I'm not having the horse, and I will not have the horse.
There's new DLC for Hyrule Warriors and Michael's in it.
Am
Yeah. Including horse weapons in the new DLC.
Horse weapons. Well, that's an upgrade from horse armor.
Wait, hang on. Is this like a gun that fires a horse?
No, it just says. I know I think Kotaku did like a article on it that's like overhyped it.
Really?
Horse weapons. You basically just use attack on the horse, that's it. There you go, horse weapon.
Are we actually just physically arming the horses so the horse gets a sword?
I think it's like a.
Does the horse actually have the dexterity to use a sword?
I'm assuming it's like
And hands.
specifically made.
It doesn't have opposable hooves.
It's just sellotaped to its like foot.
See, this does not seem like the most well thought through idea. Oh, and I've actually found out what that bloody case was. It's a Prodigy.
Ah.
And they also appear to have that one in 6 different colours as well, in case you want things that are pretty. That's it's a smallish, and it's got handles. If you want a smallish with handles case. As far as price, I have no idea. It's probably expensive.
Does he have it like without the lid on? I'm trying to think of what the panels.
What this? Well,
He has like a really decent graphics card, doesn't he? Or something. Oh.
he's got the 760 in that one, the GeForce GTX 760.
Yeah, I don't know much on that.
Which is a hell of a lot better than mine, to be entirely fair. It's not the top of the range, and indeed, not that long ago, Nvidia's put out the new ones, the new... I thought the 8... What happened to the 8 series? Where's the 8 series? Because they've just put out the 9 series, and I'm like... I feel like we've missed something here. Isn't there supposed to be an 8 series? Where's that gone?
Possibly. I haven't actually been... I'm not that... Custom to like
I've been
graphics
thinking I
cards
need
at the minute.
I've been thinking I need an upgrade for a while, so I've been like, oh well, I'll hang on till the 8 series is out. When the 8 series comes out, everything else will come down in price, so I could probably pick up a 7 series for a reasonable price. So I'll hang fire on it for a bit, and then I believe there's some of the 8 series with for the mobile versions of 8 series came out, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not using a laptop here, so let's have some proper graphics cards. And then a few weeks back, it's like, oh, here's the 9 series. I'm like, did we just turn over 2 pages at once? What happened here?
The 8 series was all a dream.
Maybe. I guess it's a good thing. I mean, a new series means old stuff's going to come down in price again, but I don't know, it just seemed kind of odd. It's just like, well, we're moving on. Next one's out. Here we go, 9 series. And I'm like, wait, guys. The thing. The thing. We missed the thing. What about the thing?
You're not doing this in numerical order.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe they have something against the number 8, the superstition against 8.
I would have thought people would see the word 8 and think, oh, this means hate. So people will hate this.
It could also mean mate. Like sweet graphics card mate.
So it's the Chab series.
Well, sometimes things happen that make absolutely no sense. Why justify it?
Well, yes. I don't know. All I know is I need a new graphics card. I would like one. Well, I keep saying that. I mean, I do wonder if the bottleneck might not just be with processor, because a lot of people are saying, a lot of MMOs and stuff, which is obviously what I play a lot of, is, it's like, oh, it's all processor intensive, oh, you need a good processor for it. I'm like, oh, well, maybe mine's just not up to scratch. Because I know a game, Total Biscuit, recently was going on about new specs for his computer, and he's like, oh, I've currently got this 6-core one, but the vast majority of games don't bother using the cores, and I'd heard that about games before. I mean, when we're talking about using multi-core processors, the vast majority don't use, like 3 and 4 cores. Some of them will use 2. Not all games use 2. Most of them probably won't use 3 or 4, and anything beyond that is almost entirely wasted. So I think you're better off just getting a faster graphics card rather than adding more not graphics card, processors rather than more cores. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure I know what I'm talking about. I just think I know what I'm talking about.
So that's why I'm
Don't-
being a bit
don't
quiet.
take consumer
'cause-
advice from us.
We're not consumer advice. We're the guys looking at the cases and going, oh, look at them, they come in 6 colours.
But which I guess is consumer advice in a way.
It's, yes. We can advise you which colours they come in.
Red and yellow.
No, red, orange, blue, green, white, and black.
Well, the rainbow song has been ruined forever. Thank you.
No, it's been rewritten.
It's
Red
been
and orange
improved.
and blue and green and white and black.
Politically incorrect.
Maybe?
I was going to say incorrect.
Anyway,
Let's move swiftly on from that
Moving-
awkward
moving-
moment.
moving away from that landmine.
Yeah.
Has anyone else got anything to talk about games-wise, or are we at the end of this section?
I think we might have to go to commercial, John.
And
Good lord. Oh well, sure. Let's take a brief break-sicle, and we shall come back and bring you some gaming news after these words from our sponsors.
But Mash Podcast is back.
Woo! Jingles.
Hey,
Welcome back to the Button Mash Podcast. We have some gaming news for you, some juiciest, tender cuts of video gaming newsage.
But Mash Podcast. Gaming news.
Don't know if that one warranted it, but it's all going on the soundboard when you get replaced by a robot.
Yeah, as long as the robot's more attractive than me, I can live with that.
Well, that's not hard.
oh,
Ooh, burn.
I'm now crying and eating ice cream. I hope you're happy.
Well, the robot was engineered to be attractive, so sorry. We built it from a real doll.
John Podcast host me.
Anyway, let's do some news. Steam! Steam is a thing. Steam is a thing we're familiar
Yes,
with.
it is a thing.
It has been updated. It's been a big old Steam update this week. And hopefully you should have seen that. It's a bit more purple and blue now. It's blue more than purple, isn't it? Purple is kind of a colour that they like using, but it's all blue now. Everything's shiny.
I like the hue, the hue of blue.
It's a nice blue hue.
A blue hue for you?
Yes, and it's... Well, they've updated the store, so it's a lot more dynamic and interesting and usable, and it's... The Steam UI itself, the actual Steam window, is still pretty crap, but as compared to doing it in a browser window, because you've got tabbed browsing and things, there's a lot of actual nice usable browser features that actually work a lot better in a browser, but nonetheless, it's very much a step in the right direction to becoming usable, especially when you consider how many friggin' games there are on Steam these days. As we have seen in the last few weeks trying to do some releases.
Yep, it just takes a few hours.
Yeah, so now Steam is sort of making a push towards trying to make it easier for you to find things that are relevant to you and interesting to you, improve recommendations and things.
Which, for the record, will make our new releases at the end of this podcast slightly quicker.
Well, I've kind of gone through and pruned that a bit, so I've streamlined that. That's not really especially to do with this, but it actually is helped in a certain degree by the new releases page. Is actually a lot nicer to look at than what we've had before. There is actually, tell you what, there is a link that just takes you straight to all the upcoming titles, and I will post that in our thing because that's useful to know. So,
And where can they go to see this?
that's not a thing that's relevant, but you got it wrong. You got the segue wrong.
So I've been eager.
He
for
can't
my
help
cat.
himself.
You were waiting for that, but the link for that is store.steampowered.com/search/?filter equals coming soon and OS equals win.
That doesn't roll off the tongue.
It doesn't roll off the tongue, but that is where you can find all the upcoming titles for Steam.
Are you going to put that link into the YouTube video when you post this?
I put it on our show notes so that you guys can get to it a lot easier, but I can put it in the description as well if people want me to do that. Yeah, it's
And where can people view this description on the YouTube?
by scrolling down the page.
I'm trying to get you to give the YouTube for the bottom of
It's
the
not.
podcast.
We haven't got there yet. I know I told you there's a segue coming up. We haven't got there yet. This is one of the new features. Shall we do the new feature so you can do your segue?
No, I'm not that eager to do it. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
shove
you've
on
ruined
it.
it now.
The moment's gone.
You've ruined it.
Okay, as a part of all of this, there is a new Steam feature called Steam Curation, which allows your favourite video gaming commentators and critics and reviewers and journalists and whatnot to build lists of things on Steam which they recommend, and you can then go and follow them and find out what they recommend, and that'll show up and tailor your Steam release lists to things that might be of interest to you based on the people you follow. So, for example, if you were to follow, I don't know, a certain web page called Button Mash, then things that, not yet, wait for it.
That was a segue in
Oh
itself.
no!
Then
no.
anything that Button Mash recommended on the Button Mash page would show up on your front page and says, oh, Button Mash recommends this title.
I've now known what the segue is, but I'm refusing to do it out of principle.
And people can find this page at bit.ly/bmsteam because they don't give you a useful URL, so I made a useful URL. God damn it.
So our URL is bmsteam.
bit.ly, yes, /bmsteam.
All right, that's good to know.
So that takes you to our Steam curation page where you can follow things that we recommend, or mostly I recommend. I mean, I can make this motley crew able to curate if they want. I don't know if they want.
I'd quite like to do that.
Well, okay.
No, that's
No,
resolved.
I was going to say the main
I thought you
purpose.
were going to stop him then.
The main purpose of it is
no.
the main purpose of it is obviously to try and sort of create some sort of cross-pollination of content and things. It's kind of it's so that you can direct people to your articles or videos and whatnot. So it's really helpful if there's they only give you 150 characters to review a game in using this feature. So the idea is you just do a quick blurb, almost like a box quote as it were, and then underneath it there's a link to your YouTube video or your article or whatever. So yeah, if you're trying to review a game in 150 characters, that's kind of difficult.
It's like Twitter, essentially.
It's shorter than Twitter. Twitter's be more flexible with Twitter with 160 characters.
You get 10 whole
Whole extra
characters
10
less.
characters. That makes a difference in
I
a
know.
review.
Well, it's an extra like 7%. I think if my numbers are
Wasn't
about right. I don't think that's right, but it's close to right.
It's right, but it's not right.
It may be right.
So do
they-
like certain creators get like featured and on the front like
I
Interesting.
think there is an element of that. Certainly, probably likely your more big ones will probably pop up and things. If you're looking for games and you know how typically, I mean, people call them box quotes because that's effectively what they are. You know, if you went into a shop and you picked up a box off the shelf, on the back there's a bunch of quotes from all the people who reviewed it. This is what they said about it. It's effectively that. You go onto the Steam page, below the game there's a bunch of box quotes from reviewers and what they've said about the game. So it's kind of that. And I think the bigger ones are more likely to get featured. I mean, stuff like Total Biscuit, who've got like 150,000 followers already. He did say he's got a way to give the guy a big head, but he's got like more than the next 6 curators combined in terms of followers at this point, which is ridiculous. So his quotes are probably going to show up quite a lot on your store pages, whether you like him or not. But again, if there's a curator that you follow that has recommended that game, those kind of quotes will show up. So if you're browsing through the Steam store and you're like, oh, what's this game? I don't know what this game is. It looks kind of interesting. I wonder if I can find out any more information on it. And it just so happens that Button Mash has done a review on it and done a video on it. Below it, it'll say, Button Mash says this about this game. Here's a link to their video. You can go and see their review. And you're like, oh, well, I trust these guys because I followed them. I'm going to see what they had to say about it. It's kind of a cross-pollination thing, so I do like that.
Yeah, it's really good for YouTube as well.
I think they are certainly a big part of the audience intended for it, I think. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, it's smart on their part, isn't it? It's just because if people are playing their games and they want to link people to see them playing their games, where they'll be more likely to buy it, then Why not?
Yeah, I mean, there was some talk, I believe, a while back. I mean, I guess it's more sort of. I'm only hearing this secondhand from other big audiences, but because they talk about it, it's like, oh yes, we've been talking to Steam, and they said they were going to have these features. Like, well, I haven't been talking to Steam because I'm not big enough to talk to Steam, but I believe that one of the original ideas they wanted was to make this Steam curation and things be like almost mini store pages. So the person who was doing it got like a cut of it, probably not a big cut of it, but like 1 or 2% or something of each transaction, maybe even less than that. I don't know. But yeah, the idea would be that there's a reason to do the curation. At the minute, it's more just hopefully a bit of cross-pollination between the Steam storefront and the actual content producers, which is nice in and of itself, and I certainly don't object. But I know a bunch of people are like, oh well, what's in it for me is literally kind of the attitude is like, what do I actually stand to gain by doing this? There's not a whole lot necessarily, so is it necessarily worthwhile doing? Whereas certainly I think a lot of people would probably quite like that extra money, but that also does raise moral issues, because then you've got a conflict of interest. What's to stop developers just saying, look, here's $1,000, put me on your curation page and we'll say no more.
That was there before, though. Kind of. That
I
could have
suppose,
been doing there before.
I suppose, yeah, you could still do that
Bribery is
insofar as...
It's not a rare occurrence.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's always accusations of that kind of thing, and you are supposed to be transparent about that sort of thing. It just seems like that if there was an actual storefront in which... I mean, bribery could always take place, but if you think about if you were taking a cut of every transaction, it would be even more open to exploitation, because, you know, you could just say, oh yeah, this game is great, this game is fantastic, yeah, go buy it through my store. The reviews would be more skewed towards the positive, and let's be honest, video game reviews are already skewed towards the positive with our 7 to 10 grading scale.
Yeah.
So if you think about everybody's potentially standing to take 1 to 2% of every video game sale through the store, there'd be even more incentive to say, oh my god, this game is Game of the Year, totally go out and buy it now, you must buy it, when it's an absolute pile of dross.
Wait a minute. This transaction shipping game that I'm playing isn't as good as it was made out.
You will not besmirch the good name of Transocean. Transocean is a masterpiece.
It sounded.
Is that an actual game?
Yeah, we discussed
I
this.
was just making jokes.
No, we did discuss this one last week. It's a game that is out presumably in the last few days, which is literally a shipping game, and I don't think you even get to drive the ships.
You just
All right.
supervise.
For a second there, I thought it was like shipping, like Amazon, like ship your goods.
Well, in a
that sounds
certain
even
sense, it kind of is.
Similar.
I mean, how do you think Amazon does ship goods? I mean, if you
Oh,
buy,
yeah, of
I suppose
course,
if you buy
like
something from
shipping.
Amazon.com, they will ship it to you. Shipping is a form of shipping.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
the
a
general term is shipping, like
Yeah.
warehouse work.
You're just working in a post office, like signing up on things.
No.
Well, this is just managing a fleet of huge freighter ships. Which, oddly enough, I'm looking at their page, and
Not
they
too
have
bad.
mostly positive reviews, so apparently people kind of like this thing. Which is actually, that's another part of the Steam thing. When you go on it, it gives you a kind of an overview of the reviews, and apparently it's got 73% positive reviews, so... Which is it's kind of a little bit Metacritic, but perhaps, I don't know, maybe a little bit fairer than Metacritic? I don't know, potentially.
Well, it sounds like an improved way of doing things, I suppose.
Yeah, people have their interests though, so.
Yeah, it's just that one ties back into your simulation stuff. It's like, who's interested in this? Seriously, and what's wrong with them?
Some people are boring bastards. You just have to accept it.
That's a bit
The views of the Button Mash podcast.
Some people like their fun to be really efficient.
That explains the German thing, then.
Oh dear.
You're not even going to stop me on that one.
Nope, I'm going to let that one slide because it's right.
I think that's a good stereotype for them, though.
I mean, it's better than
Positive.
some. There are a lot worse stereotypes to have.
The Germans are lovely. Let's leave Germany alone.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Leave Germany alone.
don't mention the war. I think I mentioned it once, but I got away with it.
Alright, I'll do it now. The views of the Button Mash post.
Anyways, also part of the Steam is, I mean, this came up in this popped up in news and stuff. I was like, oh, this is a new feature now. My reaction was, is it? I've had this for like a couple months now, but I always forget I forget I'm part of the. I always sign up to the Steam betas, or I did at some point like years ago, and I'm still getting beta updates. I guess every time they do some UI stuff that's part of the beta, it's like, here's some new stuff for you, and then 2 months later, it's like, here's some new stuff for everyone. I'm like, but I've already been doing this. But yeah, Steam now has a music player built into it, so if you want to play your music through Steam, you can do.
Yeah, I was wondering like, when you said that. Oh, Steam's got a new music player. Have you seen it? I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't go into the settings often, but
well, that one showed. Yeah, that one showed up for me ages ago. I was like, that's it's honestly, unless it's changed a lot in the last couple of months while it's been beta, it weren't great, honestly. There's a lot better out there. I think you'd be better off served sticking with whatever the hell you were using for. If you used iTunes, stick with iTunes.
Right. Or what do you mean, like not good, like no skip button, no play button?
I can't remember exactly what it didn't have, but yeah, there were some fundamental stuff that was missing. I think it's just like the ability to build a playlist. It was really fiddly. You couldn't really do as much with your music that you wanted as you would be able to in something like iTunes, or in my case, I still stand by Winamp to this date. I still think Winamp whips the llama's ass. Don't knock Winamp. Winamp is really solid, man.
Like, is that still existing?
No, it doesn't. That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
Well, he's just sending emails with AOL.
I was thinking, how are you still using it?
About a year ago, they stopped supporting it. I think it probably is very niche. I think it was last September, yeah. So it'd be about a year ago, they stopped doing it. It's like, okay, this is the last update. If you want Winamp, you can still download it. It'll be here for the next month. And then after a month, they're like, we're taking down the download link. I would very much wager you can probably still get that from various places. I mean, there's enough download sites on the internet. You can probably still get Winamp, but officially, no, it's no longer still around. So anybody still using it is really dedicated to it, I think. And I still like the damn thing, goddammit.
There are probably secret message boards where people meet up in secret to discuss Winamp.
Top secret Winamp fan club, yes.
It's like Prohibition. You've got to give like a password to get in.
Like with soundtracks, like with some games, I'm like, why would you want to like have your own soundtrack over it if in-game soundtracks?
But you listen to a lot of stuff with cool soundtracks, and I totally understand.
I want an example of a game that has like horrible soundtrack, decent game.
Minecraft. Minecraft doesn't. Minecraft doesn't inherently have a bad soundtrack.
It's not very frequent though. It's not constant. That's what...
It's more the fact that it's the kind of games where you put in hundreds, if not thousands, of hours. You get sick of the soundtrack because you've heard it so often and you want your own custom soundtrack. World of Warcraft is a great example, because I turned the music off after a while in World of Warcraft playing that, and for years I just played my own music because I'd heard the World of Warcraft stuff to death. I didn't want to hear it anymore. Minecraft, it's the same kind of thing. It's it's like, oh, I've heard this song thousands of times. I don't want to hear it again.
Yeah, I can see like with RTSs as well that don't have that much variety.
Potentially, yeah. It depends. It very, very much depends on the game.
Well, regardless, it's a good feature.
Potentially, but I still think it's a feature that's redundant in light of better technology that already exists and has existed for decades. It's them shoehorning in a feature that's completely and utterly superfluous, I think.
Wait.
However,
how much are they pushing it though? They're just like, is it just
they're probably not pushing it too much. They've done. There is a sale on at the minute. Yeah, there's a sale on at the minute. They put a lot of game soundtracks are on like 75% off and stuff, so you can get that. What did I look for? There was a game I was like, ooh, I wonder if this soundtrack's on. Crypt of the Necrodancer I looked for, but that's not. It's on the daily deal at the minute, although it won't be by the time this video goes live, but no, soundtrack's still.
There's a Robot Roller Disco Derby.
Robot Roller Disco Derby Dodgeball, possibly.
Because that doesn't... Well, you can buy the soundtrack, but there isn't anywhere you can listen to it. Yeah, there is on the...
What do you mean?
Garage? Like a website?
Sorry, you've lost
Garage.
me. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm just trying to figure out where you can listen to the soundtrack.
In Winamp or iTunes or?
Yeah, I normally listen to my soundtracks in YouTube for some odd reason. But
Oh right.
I can never find like.
Also, I'm looking at the store page. They actually don't sell the soundtrack separately by looks of things. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes with a lot of indie games, the soundtrack's like in the files in just like MP3 format anyway. You can just like, I'm just gonna go. I mean, I already own these files. I already bought the game, so you know, it's not against like the EULA or rules. It's not piracy if I just copy the files that are already on my computer to another folder, right? Surely. I do feel a little bad doing that at times, but at the same time, it's like, look, these MP3s are literally already on my computer when I bought the game. Why would it be piracy to copy the files from the game to my music folder? It seems like it could be, but as
They obviously take a part in the part of the revenue. So,
I realise I should be supporting developers that I like by buying the soundtracks, but I'm a poor man. I don't have the money for these things.
Everything you've just said now is hypothetical, of course, John. You've never done anything like this.
Oh
just in
yes,
case any legal experts
absolutely a
watch this, so-
hypothetical. Yeah, no. I'm just saying that these things would theoretically be possible if a person wished to do them. Not that I would ever do such a thing.
Yeah, because you've never broken the law in any way whatsoever, have you?
Nope.
Good,
Except
good.
for that
I'm glad
one
we-
murder, but we're okay.
Yeah,
I got away with that.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Right, we've got a few things that kind of all tie into each other in a certain kind of way. Also, we should probably have talked about this last week, because it kind of happened... I guess it happened last Sunday, so we didn't really talk about it, but it had happened. Double Fine, Space-Based DF9 has been cancelled.
oh no!
Well...
Tim Schafer, explain yourself.
I mean,
he did actually. There is an article of this. Tim Schafer explains why they're
I thought
ending
it was like a
development.
hidden guest on the show.
No, we don't have him on the show, unfortunately. But
He's listening.
yeah, well, they've I believe they funded this one on Kickstarter as well. Did they? Basically, this is the second title in recent history that Double Fine has kind of gone, yeah, this isn't quite working out too well. Oh, it's not Kickstarter, it's early access, sorry, this one. Yeah, they obviously recently had, Broken Age, which they're like, we ran out of money, here's the first half of the game, and we'll pay for the second half of the game if you buy the first half. Which was kind of not the deal that the people paid $4 million on Kickstarter for.
Are they still releasing the game, man?
I believe they are, but whether they can recoup, apparently it costs Double Fine about $4 million to make half a game. So whether they're going to get another $500,000 through selling the first half on Steam or not, I don't know. But there you go. So this is the second project of theirs. This one has just been done through early access, and now it's like, yeah, I know we started selling it to you before we're finished, and loads of people have bought the game before it's finished, but yeah, we're not selling it. We're not going to continue doing anything for it anymore. This was their title about building and maintaining a space station.
So, has anybody in any shape or form going to get the money back?
Well,
Still
that's...
releasing though, isn't it? So
It's... This is something we've also...
Have they taken stuff, removed stuff from the game, so then, I don't know.
Well, they're just leaving it as is. They've kind of... They've obviously sort of half-built the game. It's got some features. They promised a lot of other features that they haven't bothered. And it goes back to something we've discussed before, which is just, when do you call an early access title 1.0? It's kind of, they've just decided, okay, well, we know we haven't actually done all the things that we wanted to. We've got this big list of things we wanted to, but actually, we're just going to leave it there. It's done now. That's 1.0. That's it. We're finished. Thanks. Which is the thing everybody was actually terrified and getting angry with Chucklefish about, because they thought they were going to do that with Starbound, and they didn't do that with Starbound. But this is what happens when you do that to a game, and people get kind of angry about that.
It's a complete game, though, isn't it? I mean, at one
Again,
point,
yeah,
because 1.
It's a game. It's a complete game because they're calling it 1.0. Yeah, if they say it's a finished game, does that necessarily make it a complete game? People's opinions are going to vary on that one. They can call it 1.0 all they like, but it doesn't make it necessarily.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's a finished game just because you stuck the number on it. Technically, it's going to continue to be sold through Steam, no doubt. They're presumably going to continue to be quite happy to profit off of it, and they will remove the early access label because it's finished now, right? So it'll be a finished game. It's like, oh, buy this finished game, and I think a lot of people, if they don't do their research behind this, might well get stung in the future because they're going to be like, ooh, there's this really good spaceship building game here. It looks quite interesting, and apparently it's finished. It's not even in early access or anything. I'm going to pay $25 for this, and they're not going to get a finished game.
It's like an IKEA thing where you've built half the spaceship. It's like, game over. Wait, what?
I don't think it's quite that unfinished, but yeah.
Disappointment.
But did you say they needed 4 million for the entire? Yeah.
No, but the 4 million was the figure that they raised on Kickstarter for Broken Age, and then they released the first half of Broken Age because they ran out of money. They used that 4 million, ran out, then launched the first half of it on Steam and said, there you go, here's half a game. The money that we make from selling the first half of the game will be the money we will use to make the second half of the game. Which is kind of a dubious and slightly douchey way to do business, if we're honest.
Did they make this announcement while they were drinking out of like solid gold goblets going?
Why did they do it again?
I don't know. All I can say is it probably doesn't seem like a really solid investment to bet on Double Fine games in the near future. I'm not necessarily sure I would trust them to completely finish a game until they, completely finish a game from now on. Don't buy things from Tim Schafer until he's finished them, I think is general good advice going forward.
Well, he needs the money to finish them.
Well, then he'd better find a publisher, hadn't he?
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting this stuff.
We have this traditional method that everybody seems to be eschewing. It's like, oh no, we can't
publish anymore.
Yeah, what's wrong with doing it the old-fashioned way? Why do we need to buy the game before it's finished all of a sudden? There's suddenly this idea that all games need to be paid for by the people who are going to play the game before the game has even been made. And now getting some fairly high-profile issues like here, and what was the other one? There was another one fairly high-profile disappeared a couple of weeks back. Was it the Stomping Land? That was it, the dinosaur survival simulator thingy. They launched on Steam. Didn't post anything, they didn't interact on the forums, they didn't post any updates to the game. That was sat there for 2-3 months, people kept buying the game, and then suddenly the game got pulled from Steam. It was just, Valve just took it off the store. Thanks for the money, see you later. What happened there? A lot of people got burned.
Well, that was fairly obvious that was doing pretty terrible.
Well, yeah,
they
people
didn't update it, but...
Yeah, people were. There were a lot of alarm bells. People were getting angry. It's like, oh, we bought this game in early access and nobody's posted any updates for it. Why have you not updated this game?
With Double Fine, it seems a bit like.
At the same time,
surprising.
At the same time,
well,
the upshot for the consumer is the same though. Is that people who have already put down money on a game are getting burned by the developers going, well, okay, it's not getting finished. For whatever reason, whether it's they've legitimately run out of money, they've got bored of developing the game, or whatever on earth Tim Schafer's actual reasoning was here. I suppose we've got a quote here. It's like, Double Fine was inspired by other early access stories, started Space Base with an open-ended production plan. And did well at the outset. Double Fine and its investment partners made back the initial money within 2 weeks of launch. Slowly things changed. It became clear that this was looking like a year and a half of production instead of 5 or so. Yeah. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, that sounds like we were going to finish it sooner. Have they got that quote backwards or something? The quote says, slowly things changed. It became clear this was looking like a year and a half of production instead of 5 or so.
So he was too good at producing it.
They were going to finish 3.5 years too early.
He decided, no, this is not acceptable.
That does sound bad. I mean, to be fair, that's really bad for consumers when you consider that people, not even just the early access people, they're giving money to them. They had investment partners there. People people invested money in Double Fine to make the game. Double Fine released the game on early access, made back that money for the investment partners, so they were turning a profit. Their investment partners had turned a profit on it, and they were still selling it on early access, and then they pulled the plug on it, and now everybody who's already bought it has got burned by it. That's not good. I hesitate to mention. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of... That's not really a great model, I would suggest. I mean, if you've got investment partners, get enough investment to make it, surely. Sorry?
Not the best way to run your business.
No, Tim Schafer seems to be making a few questionable business decisions of late. And I would very, very much suggest it's probably worth hanging fire on Double Fine games. I know they've got a track record of making some very great stuff, but at the same time, they now also have a track record of not finishing at least 2 titles so far, so... caveat emptor and all that, buyer beware and all that jazz.
Maybe think twice next time they start a Kickstarter or...
Sell anything on early access, yeah.
I know this is not game related, but have you guys seen the new South Park episode?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's called well, it's taking a little stab at Kickstarter, so crowdfunding.
Oh right.
Yeah, I'll let you guys watch that.
All right.
if you wish.
That sounds amusing. I do.
Is there a great life lesson learned there?
Well, so I don't know. I do quite like South Park's parodies of stuff taking pot shots at IRL stuff. I mean, it's quite good like that.
Yeah, should be good.
There was also... What else have we got? There's other things related. The Yogscast Kickstarter. The Yogscast Kickstarter... Well, this happened a while back, but... the guys who did that, they did a Kickstarter to develop a game, a Yogscast-themed game, and then that one failed, and everybody who backed the Kickstarter, another developer by the name of Nerd Kingdom, who did another successful Kickstarter called TUG, T-U-G, I'm not sure what it stands for, if that even stands for anything, they stepped in and were like, okay, everybody who backed and was supposed to be getting Yog Ventures, now we're going to give you our game instead, here's TUG instead. Which was allegedly a similar-ish kind of game. I don't know. Their team, they're now laying off half of their team because they don't have enough money.
It's not a good month for Kickstarter games, is it?
It's not. I mean, again, when you consider that TUG, again, this was funded on Kickstarter. They were like, okay, we made half the game. We'd like some money so we can finish it. If you give us enough money, we can finish making this game. And they made quite a good chunk of money. I forget how much exactly, but it was I think in the 6 figures mark.
Yogscast you're talking about.
Sorry?
Is it? Sorry, it was like.
It wasn't the Yogscast. This is the Yogscast one already failed. This is the guys who bailed out the other Kickstarter after the Yogscast failed. Oh yeah, these guys raised nearly $300,000 for their game. And they apparently also had investors, surprisingly enough, and their investors withheld some money this month so that they didn't have enough money to carry on doing what they wanted to do, so they had to lay off half the team. They had like 25 people, and apparently they're laying off a good half of their crew, just in order to be able to keep working on it. Presumably slower than usual.
Yeah, we would have thought so.
Still sorry for the development team.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of like their hands been forced here, so it's not really much their fault, it's more their investors.
At the same time, if you're doing crowdfunding, why do you have investors? Why are you doing both? Surely one or the other. If you're getting investors, get enough investors to make the game. Or if you're doing crowdfunding, don't also rely on investors at the risk of your investors pulling out and it's screwing over your Kickstarter backers because your Kickstarter wasn't enough on its own. If the investors decide, actually, you know what, we're not that invested anymore, we are not getting any of our money, you're suddenly screwing over, in this particular instance, about 1,100 people?
Yeah, maybe it's an idea to simplify things in the
future.
future.
No, it's 7,200 people, sorry. I don't know where I got 1,100 from.
It's a slight wrong number there.
Yeah, sevenfold difference.
But no, it's fascinating, isn't it? Just how
Well, it's an interesting learning experience, and hopefully people will take something from it. Be wary of things that are not finished, I hope, is the lesson everybody can take from this. And people have been saying this for years. People have been saying, okay, sooner or later you're going to get burned. And a lot of people are getting burned very publicly and very distinctly now. And I don't know,
If
it's
you
about...
walk up to a bridge and the bridge says under
I think they're
construction,
taking
don't
advantage of
cross it.
people's like
Yeah.
curiosity, like with games. It's like when like this cool like early access game comes out, and like definitely worth trying now, not until we're not even waiting until it finishes.
Totally understand that. Yeah, I mean, early access and Kickstarter has allowed a lot of things to exist that otherwise wouldn't be able to exist. It has provided the funding for a lot of really cool titles that otherwise never would see the light of day. But at the
I
same
think
time,
the gaming community as a whole is very trusting and doesn't want to believe that people
think
would
so.
do something like this.
yeah,
I think that's part of the problem.
it is. You need to. People need to do their research before. If it's untested, untried, brand new developer you never heard of before, exercise a bit of caution. Don't throw some money at it. If something seems too good to be true, ask some questions, find out, do a bit of research. Don't just throw money at it and just go, oh, it'll probably work out. Because what if it doesn't? I mean, the Stomping Land is a great one because it's the zombie survival formula that's been done to death lately. But all of a sudden, it's dinosaurs. Everybody likes dinosaurs, right? So yeah, everybody's bought into that, going, oh my god, I want a game where I can actually fight dinosaurs. We can craft guns from resources that we can find in the world and use them to shoot T-Rexes in the head. Basically. So a lot of people are like, oh, that formula sounds amazing, I'm going to buy that. And then suddenly the developer's gone, whoop, bye, thanks for the money. So yeah. Be very careful. I mean, the problem with Double Fine is Double Fine do have a track record of making very excellent titles. This is Tim Schafer we're talking about. We're talking about the man behind Monkey Island and Grim Fandango and a lot of other really cool stuff. So, when he says, oh, by the way, guys, I'm doing a crowdfunding thing, you're like, yeah, I trust you with my money. A lot of people did. People trusted them with 4 million of his money. He pissed it up the wall. Views of the Button Mash podcast.
Yep.
Opinions are our own.
Yes.
Yeah. Do not hold us to legal account, please.
Yeah. We didn't necessarily piss it up the wall, but you know what I mean. A game
It's very
that...
suspicious to lose
Send all
4
your hate
million.
mail to Meroka at Bunmash.
Yeah.
Shut up. That email is not supposed to be public.
Well, it is now.
Right.
Is there a segue into the next segment?
There's also another cancellation. This one's not crowdfunded, so don't get up in arms about this. Just be disappointed about this. Blizzard have cancelled a game that they've been working on for the last 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They're working on a next-gen MMO, which was presumably at some stage to theoretically be a successor to World of Warcraft, presumably.
Have
they
they
Project
given any reason
codename
why it's gone?
Blizzard want things to be the best they can possibly be. If they decide that something's not working, Blizzard's just like, we're pulling the plug. So they've been working on this for 7 years, and they've kind of got to a point where they're like, this just isn't working out for us. We'd rather just
work on
be perfect.
World of Warcraft. I don't know.
There's a lot of quotes and things on the articles and stuff. It's like, we were losing a bit of perspective and getting lost in the weeds. A lot of sort of talking head lines and stuff that don't really mean a lot, but it's just kind of we had created World of Warcraft. We felt really confident we knew how to make MMOs, so we set out to make the most ambitious thing you could possibly imagine, and it didn't come together. We didn't find the fun, we didn't find the passion. We talked about how we put it through a reevaluation period, and actually what we reevaluated is whether that's the game we wanted to be making. The answer is no.
Didn't they show like a trailer for the game?
They've never actually officially announced this, to be entirely fair. This is something that's only ever been sort of leaked in snippets and rumours and whatnot.
Why are people so angry about it?
I don't think anybody's angry. They're
Well,
sort
no,
of
well,
disappointed, I guess. I mean, because Blizzard are excellent, and if Blizzard says, look, we're making World of Warcraft 2, a game which is a...
Very popular
whether you like
game.
it or... Sorry?
A very popular game.
Yeah, I was going to say, whether you like it or not, it's an important part of the gaming experiences of a lot of people at this stage. Millions of people have played and got rather invested in World of Warcraft. So when Blizzard, obviously they haven't announced it, but when you hear that Blizzard are like, oh, we're working on a new MMO, it's like, oh, these guys made World of Warcraft. This is going to be good. So,
This is going to be non-existent.
And then when they cancel it 7 years later, it's like, oh, okay. But that just means that they can redirect however many people have been working on Titan to work on other things, and Blizzard usually do some pretty good stuff. So they'll be working on things like your Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, which
World of Warcraft.
or World of Warcraft, yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's still 6-7 million people play that, so that's certainly not an unreasonable chunk of money for them.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll survive somehow.
I mean, most MMOs are considered to be, any other MMO at any rate, is considered to be pretty successful if they can break the 1 million mark. If you can have more than 1 million players, it's a pretty damn good MMO. Blizzard is still at 6-7 million players on World of Warcraft, so until it dips below that 1 million mark, and even then it's still a pretty decent MMO at 1 million, but until it dips below that mark, I don't think they've got much to worry about. It kind of seems like it's going to trail off slowly. It's kind of like a long tail on it. You'll get a lot of people peter out, and then there'll be. I think it'll continue to be around. There'll be a few million people continue to play it for probably quite some time to come. I would have wagered. And we're still talking about even if you have 1 million players, they're each paying $8 to $9 a month or so. So that's $9 million a month. I could live off that money. I don't know about you.
I would cope.
Yeah, I think they'd be all right with that kind of money, to be honest.
They're doing well to compete with like the newer, like how people are paying for it. Like you said, with I'm gonna say Warframe and WildStar. They're doing.
WildStar.
They've got a good
If you actually delve into the game, there's a lot of issues with WildStar that are kind of driving community away at the minute. I mean, I'm still leveling, so I still really dig the game. But
yeah, I was liking it that you gave me like a guest pass for got to like level 11.
All right.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
It's a cool concept, but from what I'm hearing, a lot of the level 50s that are sort of in the raiding, there's a lot of things that Blizzard had to learn the hard way, things that they did at level 60 that were really bad for the game, that WildStar are like, oh yeah, these are super hardcore things, these are for the hardcore players, but only the really hardcore people want this. Do you know how many players that is? Not many.
It's a good way to turn off the audience.
So yeah, everybody else who isn't hardcore is kind of like, okay, there's not all that much stuff for me to do once I reach level 50, unless I'm hardcore. Yeah, I mean, Blizzard's pièce de résistance at level 60, the classic WoW, the big end game raid, was Naxxramas. I think they said only 5% of everybody who ever did raiding ever saw that raid, and less than 1% of all the people who actually ever played the game saw that raid. That's not many people. And that was, they'd spent ages doing this. They had a huge launch for it, and it was all really delicately structured, and it was really interesting and elaborate and really super difficult. And yeah, nobody ever saw the raid because it was too freaking hardcore. And the thing is, that happened years ago. WildStar should have been able to learn from these mistakes. You should have been able to see, this is what these guys did. They did it wrong. How can we do it better? And they just kind of didn't, unfortunately. There's they seem to be sort of steering it slightly in the right direction. When you look at like the patch notes and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, we've removed the attunement for this content. We've removed the attunement for this. Oh, we made this attunement easier. It's like stuff like the raids that normally require you to get into a group and do some stuff really, really well in order just to be able to open the door to the next bit. They're like, okay, now you only need to do it kind of well. And some of them it's just like, you just need to finish it.
You said the raids are quite
they're supposed to be really difficult, yeah. I mean, I've only seen like the dungeons, which is just the 5-man content, and they're cool enough as it is. The raids are, I presume, insane. I think is probably a good word for the WildStar raids.
Telegraphs everywhere and flashing lights.
But yeah, like I say, it's kind of there are things that you have to do in order to be able to get into them in the first place. There are objectives you have to do to get in, and they take a long time and require coordination with other people who are probably less invested in helping you get in because they've already got their key to get into the door, so they don't need to help you get your key. There's no real incentive there for them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little difficult to do. And this is half the problem Blizzard had back in the day, back at level 60 with stuff like Naxxramas. There were long, crazy, elaborate quest chains that required a lot of coordination to get people in. And people are just like, oh, I can't be bothered with this, it's too much work, it is ridiculous trying to get a group together, nobody wants to do this. It's because once you're in, it's like, I can't be bothered helping other people get through all this palaver because I already did it myself. Why would I want to do it again? People don't want to attune twice.
So, is there anything else with the news, John, that we need to discuss?
What else do we have? Do we have anything else? No, just more the politics of a lot of all the cancellations and whatnot.
Yeah.
And kind of, I mean, obviously, it's just the big profile name ones quitting. I mean, I think, haven't there been some other ones in recent history as well, other ones that failed? I can't quite think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure there have been a few other ones. I'd like to see the trend move in favour of a slightly more savvy investor. Every time someone posts a crowdfunding thing, they're like, oh, I'm raising money for this game, I'm like, yeah, but I don't know you from Adam. I'm not going to invest any money there. It's like, and now there's just like, you need to even be dubious even with a name you can trust, I feel.
Yep.
Which is disappointing, really, isn't it?
It is a little disappointing when it's such a promising format, and like I say, there's no doubt there's good stuff's come out of the crowdfunding formula. It's just be careful, people, please. Be careful.
Right. Yeah. There's like, I remember someone mentioning something about like another video games crash. I think we had one in like the early 90s or something.
Early 80s.
Early 80s.
1983, that was the big Atari video game crash.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, following suit, maybe.
Like potentially. I mean, I don't know necessarily about Kickstarter going that way because I don't think there's enough doing it that way to make that a big deal. But I think the thing with Kickstarter is people will just that'll just fade into irrelevance. People will just start getting a bit sick of doing that, and it's just like it won't be as viable for them. It's already not as viable. When it was big and new, and everyone who was like, oh, jumping on the bandwagon, people could raise loads of money that way because it was a brand new thing, and everyone was like, oh, this is such an inspiring and new format. This is going to completely innovate the way everything happens. And now kind of seeing that actually that can backfire on you. I don't think that's necessarily going to cause a crash of any sort, but I have heard people talk. There's a good extra credits, actually, a YouTube series I've recently been watching a lot of. They used to do stuff elsewhere. They've moved to YouTube at some point, so I've only just discovered them on there. They do sort of lots of good video game industry talks and development stuff and all sorts of interesting things about games on there. And there's one that was about a potential video game crash, and it's like the mobile market is more susceptible to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing as Atari saw in 1983, which was it's really easy to develop for, and everybody's seeing that there's a lot of money can be made there, so people are just pumping out trash and crap and all sorts of awful stuff, and the storefronts themselves are not particularly helping insofar as it makes it really difficult to actually find what you're looking for just by sheer virtue of there's so much crap.
Different variant, like similar names and stuff. Yeah, I might end up purchasing a game that wasn't actually the game, but something very similar.
And all your clones and whatnot, your Flappy Bird clones and Angry Bird clones and Threes clones and you name it, anything that's reasonably successful on mobile, there's 1,000,001 clones, and they're all pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
And none of them are original, because they're clones.
I haven't actually refunded a game on the App Store, but is that even possible? It's not like a Steam format.
I think is on Android to a certain extent. I don't know about iOS because I don't own any iOS products. Certainly on Android, I think after you buy something,
implemented something like that.
after you buy something, there is a little button that underneath says, "Oops, no, didn't mean to do this. Can I have my money back?" I don't know how long or what terms that's valid for, but there is a way to undo that on Android.
Shall we move on to the slightly cheerier world of the new releases?
Well, actually, I was going to say there's one bit of the news we skimmed over in the middle of all that, is that Kickstarter have actually, I suppose this is slightly cheerier, Kickstarter are now going to try and address people who fail to deliver on their Kickstarters.
Which they should do, really, yeah.
Yeah, they've always kind of just sat back and pocketed the money up to now. It's like, oh, you raised $4 million? Well, we'll take $200,000 of that, and
that brings,
see you later. It's all in your court now.
The South Park episode as well.
Oh, right, really? Oh, fair enough. So yeah, you raise $4 million on Kickstarter. Kickstarter will take 200,000 of that, put it in their pocket, and say, right, well, ball's in your court now. You carry on making that. Go. Good for you. Go do your thing. Go get the thing. Chase the thing. Do your thing. Do it well. And yeah, now when you've got these big profile ones kind of failing, now they've added a bit to the terms of use that says, oh, if you raise your money but fail to complete your project, you have to be really, really transparent about everything you've done. You need to put in no uncertain terms exactly how you used all your money, and make it abundantly clear that you've done everything humanly possible you could to deliver the project. And if you don't do that, people are allowed to sue you for it. So there you go.
Well, that's fair enough, isn't it?
That's a lot of angry people for Double Fine.
Potentially. I mean, with Broken Age, can you actually say they failed to deliver on that? I mean, they did deliver a project. It would be very interesting to know how $4 million got spent, mind you.
Caviar and
yeah, I've kind of like forgotten how Kickstarter works, but I thought you said they don't actually take the money out until it's actually it's done, but
they take it out as soon as the campaign's complete. So when it says time left 0, well, there's a few days for the transactions to be processed, but as soon as the timer's up, anybody who's backed it, their transactions get approved and all the money goes to whoever's doing it. If they fail to take that money and use it to make a game, up to now there's been no recourse for that. It's like, whoops, sorry, we blew $4 million. Sorry, don't know how that happened. Oh, that was a bit of an accident. Oh, sorry, guys.
Sorry, while I was drinking this champagne, something seems to have gone horribly wrong.
Out of my golden goblet, encrusted with diamonds.
I'm just sitting in my swimming pool, encrusted with diamonds, just wondering what went wrong.
We can't tell. I mean, we've used the money as well as we possibly could, but somehow this game just didn't happen.
Oh, well.
I mean, I found a game developer and I just got handfuls of money and threw it at him, but he failed to make a game, so sorry, guys. Yeah, now you can sue people who do that.
Which is fair enough.
So that's fun. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of the news. So you have at least some kind of defense in the terms of Kickstarter in that regard. Certainly not with early access, though, so still please be careful with early access. Make sure it's someone like Brace Yourself, who have got a really good track record so far, who are making Crypt of the Necrodancer. If somebody buys Crypt of the Necrodancer and off my recommendation, and Brace Yourself decide, sorry, we're going to stop making it at a couple of months down the line, I will refund your friggin' game. Jesus.
Wow. That could end so badly.
That's a very bold claim.
I do think Brace Yourself are doing a really good thing with Necrodancer. I've not met anyone who's been unhappy with it so far. Everybody's like, I love this. This is fantastic. It's being supported really, really well.
Oh.
But there you go.
Hopefully we'll have something similar very soon. Maybe even this week.
I don't even know what you're talking about there. What?
Trying to segue again.
I'm trying to do a segue for you into the new game releases.
Oh, okay.
It just failed.
It sounded more like you wanted me to launch a Kickstarter. Then I was like, no, we don't have any Kickstarter projects. Backpedal.
Well, if you want to start a Kickstarter, feel free.
Well, if you give me $4 million, I will buy a gold goblet encrusted with diamonds and a swimming pool and tell you I've made a video game.
What's my reward?
I will tell you I've made a video game.
Experience of disappointment.
The game's called the Holy Grail.
Bring on the lawyers.
Someone could make a video game out of that, right? No, maybe not.
Maybe not. We'll make a video game out of somebody suing Kickstarter.
Probably. Anyway, yeah, let's follow that something like a segue. And
There's an attempt.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll take a break for a moment, but when we come right back, we will do some new releases for the week. How's about that?
Sounds wonderful. But a Mash podcast is back.
Excellent. Let's do some video game releases. That is a thing we do. We have our...
That's what we've been told.
Well, someone said we needed to do it, so I thought we probably should. For week commencing 28th of September, if you start your week on Sunday like some sort of strange person, because the week obviously begins on a Monday. Just saying.
Okay.
Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor is out on PS4, the Bone, and the PC on September 30th.
Does this have anything to do with Lord of the Rings by any chance?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, go.
It kind of looks... I mean, I know Polygon was spooging all over it. They were like, oh my god, this is the best game ever! Oh! Before spatting that load everywhere.
There was so much more information than I needed.
They gave it like 9 point something out of 10, and it's... yeah. It basically looks like Batman Arkham City in Lord of the Rings. So if you like that kind of jumping on people from above and stabbing them in the back a bit kind of gameplay, and yeah, I don't know. I never played that. It never really was like, ooh, that looks amazing to me, but a lot of people did like that. And if you wanted to do that with elves and shit, you can now do it with elves and shit. That's, I guess that's kind of the gist of it.
Okay.
We have Short Piece, Ranko Tsugimi's Longest Day for the PlayStation Network. I don't know what that is.
It's got a great name.
It's also something that's already been out for a while on PS3, I guess. A runner-style platformer created as a companion to legendary anime director Katsuhiro Otomo's anthology movie Short Piece. So there you go.
Yeah, that sounds pretty self-explanatory.
It's one of those games that there's not much information on.
Would it be Japanese by any chance?
It might just be.
Import.
I thought
I
it
get
was
some
Indian.
good. It's like hardly. There's not that many like Japanese developers like importing their stuff. I don't know, for obvious reasons, and like this one, none of us know what it's about.
Yeah, a lot of it tends to end up in obscurity and with like niche following, so unless you're part of the cult, you'll never know. Anyway, we also have, also presumably hailing from Japan, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax.
Yeah, that's a bit more.
Does sound Japanese again.
Well, that's on PS3, Xbox 360, and PlayStation Network.
Has a quite big following.
Yeah, Persona's a thing people hopefully would be familiar with. This is a sequel to 2012 fighting game Persona 4 Arena. So this is Arena Ultimax.
Yeah, brother's got that.
So it's not even, they don't even be bother upping the number, it's just name with extra word that doesn't make sense on the end of it.
Looks pretty.
The fighting game with
hand-drawn.
Is it? Okay, cool. I like hand-drawn. A fighting game with characters from Persona 3 and Persona 4. If you're a fan of Persona 3 and Persona 4 and decided that you would really, really like to see them punch the snot out of each other, well, now you have your opportunity.
Exciting times.
Also, if you like anime.
Yeah, that would help.
Forza 2 Horizon out on September 30th for the Bone and the 360. Racing games. Anyone? Anyone?
I've played like older arcadey kind of ones.
I'm not a racing game person, so I don't know squat about them. I guess if you're into racing games, Forza's supposed to be one of the better ones, but I don't know much about it.
So you telling me you're into Mario Kart?
I am into Mario Kart. I mean serious racing games, ones with ones with
I'm
proper
joking.
cars, not where you throw bananas at each other.
They're proper cars. They're called carts.
It's not a car, it's a cart.
Go kart.
You're not going
cars.
to drive to work in a
They're
car.
called go cars.
No, they're not. Fine, yeah, drive to work in a go-kart and see how people react on the road.
It's cold.
No wonder I've been given.
And throw turtles, bombs, and bananas at people from the window as you go.
You can never forget the blue shell.
And blue shells, yes. I don't think we've quite got the blue shell technology working in the real world yet.
Get out the way, person in front. Who's the person in front though?
Who's at the front of the traffic jam?
Oh dear.
So yes, this is for people who like their serious racing games. Serious racing games for serious people. It's got a dynamic weather system and the drivatar system from Forza 5.
Is it the open world one? I think.
No,
No, that's not wrong. It's Burnout Paradise.
Yeah, I was going to say
the
that was the
open
Burnout one. Now, the drivatar thing was where it learns your driving and then takes it learns like your path through the tracks and uses that to implement that into like the AI, so that when you're racing against other people's AI drivers drive like you do, so that it feels like you're racing against real people. Which is kind of neat until you realise that some people are just assholes.
Like ghost cars.
Someone out there is just going to drive the wrong way around the track just to be a dick. Yeah. So sooner or later you're gonna it's like, why is the AI just driving towards me? What the shit?
Does it have a rewind mechanic like Grid?
I have no idea.
Like, oh, you just crashed into the wall. Second chance.
Maybe. I don't know. That much is not necessarily elaborated upon. Actually, to be fair, there's actually pages and pages and pages of stuff. I suspect it probably is elaborated on here, but I'm not reading through pages of documentation to find out whether it's in there or not.
I've already made that mistake last time.
We have Natural Doctrine. I'm not sure what that is. It's a strategy RPG for the PlayStation platforms. It's
Okay.
another one of those ones that has very, very, very little information, so I really can't tell you much more about it. Well, it's fantasy themed, I know that much.
Okay.
And all the images that they've got for it are just various different box arts. So one of it with a PS4 logo, one of it with a PS3 logo, one of it with a Vita logo. Yeah, thanks, helpful guys.
That may have been a slight bit of sarcasm in there.
Just a little bit. We have Chariot.
Does this involve a chariot?
Chariot doesn't even have box arts, so what the heck this is, I don't know. It's a co-op platformer on the Bone, the Wii U, the PS4, and PC. But, yeah.
Okay, cool.
There's literally nothing whatsoever to go on there. We
Is
have...
there a chariot involved?
There may be... I would hope so. Otherwise I would be misled.
Makes sense.
I would want my money back. This is kind of an interesting...
Promised me chariots.
Yes. We have PS Solar HD, which is kind of an interesting one. Because it's a high-def remake of the 2010 Sega Mega Drive RPG. Spot the issue with that sentence. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know what happened with this game. It seems to have taken a very strange route. I don't know. I think they made a game. If you look at their website, I did look at their website earlier just because it caught my attention. It genuinely looks like they have actually developed it for the Mega Drive, and I think they manufactured it with a cartridge, and you can play it on a Mega Drive. They've also remade it for the Dreamcast.
Dear God.
And now it's also on PS3, PS4, and Ouya, and PC, and a very strange little thing. It's a old school pixel art, as you'd expect on the Mega Drive, JRPG kind of thing. A very strange creature. It's a very odd choice to go down, and that's kind of cool that they've done that, to be honest.
Yeah, sounds good.
I don't know what to make of it. I don't know whether the game's any good or not, but it's certainly an interesting development. certainly a selling point when you release a Mega Drive game in 2010. Like, wait, what?
On all other platforms.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's kind of, you're aiming for a limited market when you aim for a console that's been obsolete for about 15 years.
Does that mean it's like 10 meg?
I would hope so. Well, this is a HD one, so maybe those textures take up some space.
Yeah.
It fits on a... Well, if it goes on the Dreamcast, I guess it would go on a CD. Should be less than 700 meg.
Yep.
We have a Invisimals: The Lost Kingdom, which is has a release date of last year on it, so I guess this is a re-release of something that was already available. Even more Invisibles: The Alliance, a whole bunch of DLC that is branded as Day 1 DLC for Forza. Okay, interesting. I don't see why you would brand it as that. That's never been a particularly much of a selling point.
Yeah.
Already on the disc.
Has PlayStation started selling music or something? Because the next, like, 8 titles on our release list just appear to be soundtracks.
Yeah, network. Yeah, probably.
One says a Futuridium EP Deluxe. EP suggests music, but then I suppose what was it? Swords and Sorcery was also branded as an EP, and that was a game, so I don't know. This is, however, a remake of a Commodore 64 classic, so there you go. So lots of remakes. Falling Skies, the game. We have a Steven Spielberg TV series about the aftermath of an alien invasion.
But that's good.
It's a tactics RPG, which pits a squad of resistant members against the alien invaders in tactical battles.
For some reason, I thought you said Steven Seagal.
That would have been a very different game.
Absurd. Funny guy.
So I'm just looking through the screenshots. It looks rather, if I may say, a little bit bland. It's a squad-based tactics thingy with last-gen graphics. Doesn't look terribly exciting. We have the Namco Museum Volume 1 PlayStation 1 Classic. Oh, these look like CDs, but I guess they've got lots of, I guess these have got lots of little games on them. Those
Okay. Yeah.
Namco collections of games, I suppose. If you're a big fan of Namco stuff, Pac-Man, Galaga. A lot of words I can't make out because the resolution's too low. Oh, I see. It does have it listed below. That's useful. Pac-Man, Pole Position, Galaga, Toy Pop, Rally X, New Rally X, and Bosconian. There's only 2 of those I know the name of. I think Namco have a bigger collection than most people would be familiar with.
Trial and error.
Yeah, well, I'm sure when you go to buy them, it'll probably tell you what you're buying.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
One would
No,
hope so.
I'm just saying them developing them.
A surprising amount of this is Pac-Man, though, so hope you like Pac-Man.
Probably the game for you if you like Batman.
Collection 1 has Pac-Man, Collection 2 has Super Pac-Man, Collection 3 has Ms. Pac-Man, Collection 4 has Pac-Land, and Collection 5 has Pac-Mania.
Is it that like Hulkamania but with Pac-Man?
Alemania.
Hopefully. We have Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments, which...
Sherlock Holmes game?
Well, presumably. When you say it's a Sherlock Holmes game, my immediate reaction is this a hidden object game? But I don't think it necessarily is.
What do you mean by that, sorry?
One of those games where it's just a static image and you've got to find the screwdriver, find the spanner, find the toothbrush, and they're all just hidden in the image.
I like Broken Sword. Remember that game?
No, that one, no. There are lots of point-and-click games.
Yeah,
not point-and-click,
Monkey
sorry.
Island, it's like...
No, sorry. I didn't mean point-and-click. Hidden object is not the same thing as point-and-click, sorry.
Okay.
No, hidden object is literally... There's no real gameplay other than just find things in a picture. It's... Hidden object, it's literally the game. The game is finding hidden objects. There'll be a lot of things that look like a toothbrush, and you need to find the thing that is the toothbrush. So yeah, there's that. But I don't think this is all it says is an adventure game. There's very little information on it again. That's not quite pretty though, actually, to be quite fair. Shame there's no more information on it. Ooh, this is interesting. Second Chance Heroes. I thought this was already out. I remember playing this with you guys a long time ago.
Wasn't it on like early access or something?
We got an early access game of it, but I thought that was only like a month or so before launch when we played it. So okay, it says February 2014, so I think this is released on a new platform. This one, indeed, this one's for PS4. Yeah,
it's a decent game. I liked it.
So yeah, this was sort of an isometric co-op thing, hack and slash kind of stuff where you're playing with. Well, it actually wasn't all hack and slash, was it? Depends on the character you play. It's sort of various historical characters in very, very silly formats with silly powers, mowing down lots and lots of enemies. It's kind of cool. Quite like that.
Yeah. I approve.
Cool.
Stamp.
Suneil stamp of approval.
That's how you know to buy it, guys.
Yeah.
We have something that looks very much like a re-release. I'm not certain though. Oh yes, July 1995. Now it's on the Wii U from the SNES. Castlevania Dracula X.
Oh.
Ooh.
So maybe not.
Castlevania.
And October 3rd, I suppose this one's reasonably noteworthy. We've got the new Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS.
Isn't that already out?
Is it? I didn't. But well, this according to this, no. It says October 3rd.
Oh, probably just in US.
I heard somewhere there was they were like doing a demo, and then they've also got a limited run of the demo where you have to like either beg for keys, and some people have been selling them online and stuff so far. So if you want to play an advert, you can pay for it on eBay. Or you could just wait a few days till the game actually comes out.
Yeah.
It seems like the more sensible option.
Yeah. They're getting Wii U version.
There's also the Wii U version. From what I heard, the 3DS version is a little bit weird to play, just by virtue of the format. But there you go, that's everything that's not Steam. We're now going to do Steam, and unlike the previous weeks in which it's dragged on for hours and hours, we're going to try and abridge this to the more noteworthy titles. I've kind of gone through and filtered out stuff that's DLC, stuff that's re-releases, stuff that's point-and-click adventures, stuff that's just generally not worthy of our time. That doesn't necessarily mean that what we're about to talk about is going to be any good. It just means that it's at least slightly interesting insofar as it's a noteworthy and unique release of its own accord. So there's that. Also, some of these will also already have been over, I guess. Anyway, first up we have Cosmocoria, which kind of looks like my kind of thing. It kind of looks like something I would play. It's kind of a physics-based shootery kind of thing with a tiny naked cosmonaut with a jetpack and laser blaster. You have to go around and plant seeds on planets and then use your jetpack to fly between planets and get caught in the gravity and shoot things in space. And it's got a really charming style.
Yeah.
If you ignore the fact that your guy is naked for whatever reason. I don't know why he's naked, but your protagonist is naked in space. I don't know why he's naked in space or how he manages to be naked in space, but he is naked in space.
That seems like a really bad idea.
It does. You wouldn't have thought that would work too well. Just seems kind of like it wouldn't happen. But yeah, he's got his space helmet on, and he's got a laser gun, and he's got his jetpack. But beyond that, he is completely starkers.
Okay.
However, it does look like my kind of thing, to be honest. I may have a nosy at that one at some stage. We have Outland. Someone I know was going on about that one earlier. Let me see what he had to say on it.
I've actually played that.
Oh, you have? Really? Okay.
When they released it for the Xbox 360.
Oh, right. Is it around 360? Okay, cool. Tell us about it then.
Yeah, it's good. Like it's a good platformer. It's like got some really interesting mechanics with the color variants.
It does look very pretty.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good co-op base game as well, because I
Alright.
believe one of the characters is like blue oriented, and the other one's like red, and you can only pass through certain objects with
Interesting.
the blobs, the like orbs that you can only pass through. And,
Alright.
I believe you can change the color as well.
Interesting.
By a button, and you certainly navigate the levels by doing that. You have like boss fights at the end of each level as well. That
Alright.
implement the colors into the game. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah, the guy I know who
Quite
has
a while
played
ago and played it.
Yeah, he described it as Ikaruga meets Metroidvania, which, honestly, I'm not getting that from the screenshots or what you've told me, but there you go. Metroidvania, maybe. I don't know where the Ikaruga thing comes into it. Unless there's just a lot of things shooting at you.
Probably, yeah, all the amount of...
Yeah, when he said that, I was genuinely expecting a shooter game, and I was like, this isn't shootery, is it? That's not a... Is it? Doesn't seem like it. Anyway, yeah, that's that. We have Tiny Keep. Tiny Keep being... Let me get the page up. A top-down procedurally generated dungeon escape game with permadeath. It's a bit roguelike-y because everything is these days. Everyone likes their roguelikes all of a sudden. That is the flavour of the month for games at the moment. I'm not necessarily complaining. I do quite like roguelikes, but it doesn't mean I'll play them all. It kind of has... It's kind of got this low-res kind of... Or low-poly, not necessarily low-res, low-poly kind of vibe that makes me think, has this been like a mobile port or something? The name Tiny Keep sounds like it would be a mobile port. There's nothing to actually back that up. It just seems like it could be.
Yeah, possibly.
Sounds a bit suspicious.
I don't know. It kind of, graphically, it kind of reminds me a bit of Dungeon Defenders by the looks of things, but maybe a bit darker than that. Dungeon Defenders was very cartoony and bright. A similar graphical style, but a bit more grungy, as it were. And
sounds interesting.
yeah, roguelikey stuffs, if you want roguelikey stuffs. With 3 separate endings. Woo. Oh, they're big on physics by the looks of things, so there's lots of physics-based traps and stuff that you have to lure people into and set things up, so that could be interesting. We have a Shadow Puppeteer. A Shadow Puppeteer being a 2.5D side-scrolling platformer puzzly thing. You play with your shadow and light and darkness to solve various puzzles, if you're into that kind of thing. It's kind of got a weird art style that they describe as Nordic. I'm not sure what a Nordic art style is, to be quite honest with you, but I guess this is it. The child who is our main protagonist, as it always is in these puzzle platformers, has really huge eyes and no mouth. So, is that Nordic? Do Nordic people have huge eyes and no mouth?
Probably. Maybe in law? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, yeah, it could be kind of got some interesting potential, I suppose, there. They're playing around with shadows. Your shadow's allowed to step on. I guess you have to sort of cast shadows to create platforms for your shadow to step on. You have to control them separately. Maybe sort of element of, what do you call it? Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons kind of there in the sort of the single-player co-op kind of thing perhaps going on. I don't know. We do a lot of speculation here.
A lot of rhetorical.
Yes.
What else, where are we up to? We have the Talos Principle. The Talos Principle, there was just one name that particularly jumped out on me here, which was Jonas Kairatzis. I really can't tell quite what it is. It's a philosophical first-person puzzle game. It does look quite nice. It looks very pretty. It looks somewhat abstract and probably very high concepts if we're talking a philosophical first-person puzzle game. And yeah, Jonas Kairatzis, I've played some of his stuff before. Yeah, he's good at doing the high concepts, artsy kind of thing. So, great to be interesting. Be interested to see what else he's come up with. No.
Is Tom Jubert the guy that we met at... No, it's not. FTL.
That's
No,
don't think so.
It's probably written. It was written by Tom Jubert.
Oh yeah, Tom Jubert did work on FTL by the looks of things,
he wasn't the developer.
No,
it's not developer.
I'm not right.
Separate things.
I'm not up on my FTL and their developers, so I couldn't tell you who the one we met was.
I can't actually remember his name.
No, me neither, unfortunately. That's really bad, I know.
Word of mash, we remember when we meet you.
Yep.
When we're sober.
Yes. We'll remember you if we're sober. We have Middle Earth. We already done Middle Earth. We have Falling Skies. I believe we already did as well. We have Ket 2.0. This one caught my attention because this is kind of interesting. Laser game Ket 2.0. It's a board game.
Wow.
It's a board game that I own the board game of.
Oh.
Which is why this caught my attention, because I own this freaking game. I was playing with someone the other day, and it's a little bit like chess, but with lasers. I mean, in fact, their trailer literally describes it as like chess with lasers. That's it. That is their selling point. And hey, it works. It's kind of compelling. It's really interesting. You would probably want someone to play this with, because otherwise, I guess, I don't know. I have no idea.
A crazy person playing chess by yourself.
Yeah, well, some people do that. It's a pretty cool game. The fact they made it into this. I mean, I think half the appeal of it is lasers. When you're doing lasers in a video game, it's just a red line. It doesn't actually have lasers, so you're kind of losing the laser appeal there when it's a video game.
Good lasers.
No lasers.
So, I can absolutely recommend it as a game, but if you really want to just shoot lasers at things, well, the video game's not going to give you that satisfaction, I suspect.
Does it destroy? I'm not destroyed. I don't know how it works.
The pieces are sort of kind of semi-transparent, frosted kind of ones in the real life version. When a laser hits it, it kind of glows gently, so it's like, oh, I've hit that piece, so remove that piece from the board.
Oh, okay.
So you know when you've hit something.
Ooh.
We have Silence of the Sleep, which is horror games, is it? Sounds horror-y. Looks horror-y. It looks pretty good. I'm not entirely sure. It does say the first review on it does say terrifying atmosphere, but then Steam. I mean, this is perhaps indicative of Steam's rating system and categorization. It doesn't actually classify it as horror, which you'd have thought would be a notable tag for a horror game. It's just adventure and indie are the two classifications, which are about as broad as you can get.
What kind of game?
It is a sort of a 2B. It's like a pencil. No, it's 2D. I don't know why I said 2B.
2D is also a pencil.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never heard of a 2D pencil. Or are you messing with me?
There is.
You're kidding. Really? No. Unless you're talking about a drawing of a pencil, that would be a 2D pencil.
No, there's a 2D. Well, doesn't matter.
Anyway, yes, this is a sort of 2D. It looks very point and clicky, to be honest. It just seems to be walking around and clicking on things, maybe? Hard to tell what it is. It's very abstract and very indie, I suppose. Oh, apparently they've changed the Steam store page, so when you click play on a trailer, it automatically starts playing the music. That's one of the new features. So we've got some music playing on the podcast there. Whoopsie. Normally the Steam store page has always stayed perpetually muted until you told it, please do not mute this, I wish to listen to this trailer. Now if you specifically click play on the trailer, it automatically starts playing the music.
Oh dear.
Bah, not a good change.
Humbug.
For podcasters specifically. Yes, I'm watching the trailer and I'm learning nothing. This is like so... Yeah, this has got indie written all over it just because it's so abstract and unintuitive. It's like, what am I looking at? I don't know. If you're not going to tell me what it is, I'm not going to talk about what it is. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
What else do we have? We have... oh god, that's halfway down the page. There's a lot of stuff I've had to trim out just because there's so much crap on Steam at the minute. Albedo, Eyes from Outer Space. To read the description and look at the gameplay sounds like one of those room escape kind of things, which I don't know if you've ever played any of them. A bunch of those kind of did the rounds on like Congregates and Newgrounds kind of places a while back. They probably still do. I don't play those that much anymore, so I don't know, but it's kind of solve a bunch of really weird and abstract and interlinked puzzles to escape this room. And this kind of looks like maybe a first-person version of that kind of thing. But it's also got this sci-fi B-movie kind of vibe going on. And it's really cheesy. So...
Oh, cheesy, the better.
Looks pretty.
So yeah, if you like cheesy B-movies or room escape, that could be a thing. I don't know that necessarily room escape seems like a genre that would be solid enough to stand up under its own merits on Steam, mind you, because, as I say, up to now, it's always very much been a genre that kind of was... It was just a little flash game. Although I'm also seeing in the trailer shooting weird zombie things in the head with a shotgun, so maybe there's more to it than just the puzzles and getting out of a room. So, I could be wrong. There you go, that's a thing. We have Ares Extinction Agenda EX, which I think should be distinct and separate from Ares Extinction Agenda, which I probably own. It seems like a name I recognize. I've seen that game in a lot of bundles, I think. It's one of those things I probably bought. I may have bought multiple times, and I have no idea what it is.
No.
And once again, Steam is wonderfully useful insofar as classifying it as both action and indie. It's a 2D shooting thingy, a little bit Mega Man or Metal Slug kind of thing, perhaps. Run around platform 2D and shoot things.
Always good.
I presume this would be the sequel to the original. They have decided not to call it Ares Extinction Agenda 2, it's Ares Extinction Agenda EX, obviously.
Sounds much better.
You also have Metal Dead, which honestly kind of looks pretty bad. That really... it looks really like a Flash game. If you look at the screenshots... It properly looks, it properly looks like it belongs on Newgrounds or something.
I don't think it could claim to be anything more than a Flash animation.
No. I mean, even the screenshots have a black border. You couldn't get a screenshot that would fit the window? What? Why? How is this a problem? Oh dear.
Yes, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
So I think it's touting itself as being an amusing game. It's a hilariously terrifying adventure filled with laughs, blood, insanity, and hordes of the undead.
Okay.
So, point and click adventure, hopefully, or at least intended to be fairly funny. Presumably mostly about zombies.
Okay.
Anyway, that's the last of the week. That's all we have, I believe.
Oh.
I can see some interesting stuff that I wanted to talk about, then that actually runs over into next week, so that will stay for next week, actually.
Hey, we've got a reason to be here next week.
Wonderful, good. Just what we needed.
Woohoo.
Cool.
I was going to mention...
Do you want to wrap us up? Oh, sorry, what do you want to say?
Sorry. No, I forgot, sorry.
Come on, tell the class.
A stellar ending.
If you have something to say, you can say it to the class. Come on.
I was just about to say that typing game, that zombie related.
Oh, Typing of the Dead.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that's related, but okay.
That's much
A
better.
game better than Metalhead, I think.
That's got like some B movie like what's that director, Quentin Tarantino like esque elements to the story as well. It's quite funny. Oh no, Robert Rodriguez kind of stuff. Okay.
All right. Do you want to talk us out of this, Michael? Then you dug us into this hole. You get us out.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
you suggested we do a podcast.
Maybe I do.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. We like it when people listen to our irrelevant opinions.
Nice self-plug there, Michael.
Yeah,
Would you like to tell people where they can find us on various social media networks and things?
Yeah, sure, why not? We are holding an event at the New Bradford Playhouse on the 18th of October.
And where can they find out more details about this event, Michael?
You can go to visit facebook.com/buttermesh. And we have a Twitter, which I still can't remember for the life of me what the name is.
Well played, sir. That is button_mash_UK on Twitter.
Simple. And,
Where else can they find us?
Well, they can find us at John's YouTube, which is, of course,
Button Mash Empire.
and, generally will be about.
And of course, we're now on the new Steam curation system at bit.ly/bmsteam.
Oh yeah, that bit too.
Got a new one to add to the pile.
That'll make my job more complicated.
I will never cease to do so.
And the website's kind of fixed.
Oh, the website's fixed. Excellent. What's the website?
Button mash.
No.
Button-mash.net.
Thank you. Don't forget the hyphen, or that takes you to somewhere entirely else.
And you may not like where you go.
I don't know what it is. I've not checked it. You might not like what it is, but I don't know what it is, so...
Okay.
Only one way to find out.
Oh, please don't be like meatspin.com.
Oh, good lord. That would be the worst. We're all going to check this now, aren't we?
Yeah,
some point,
check out what this guy left at work as well on my projector, 100-inch projector. The lemonparty.com.
Apparently buttonmash.net doesn't even exist. Why did we not own that one?
This seems like a flaw.
It still seemed like a flaw. We should probably buy that domain.
You've heard it here first.
Oh, next time it's up for renewal, if it's still available, we'll have it.
Oh, thank you very much for listening. And do you want to do the final out, John? Or...
No, I'll let you have it.
Alright, well, I have been Michael, the comical idiot of the podcast. I've been joined by John.
Thank you.
This is the part where we say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And Will.
Cheery bye.
And Suneil.
Bye bye.
And we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for listening. Good night.